This page is the vibrant cover of Beep! Mega Drive magazine from December 1991, available for 480 yen. The colorful, festive artwork depicts a character surrounded by presents, setting a celebratory tone. The main focus is a special feature exploring the potential of the coming multimedia era and cladrom technology. The issue boasts triple appendices: a Beep! Mega Drive Jr. guide, the Mega Drive software Yellow Pages 91, serving as a complete guide to all 52 Mega Drive software titles released by then, and a B Megaspot. There's also a dedicated feature on historical simulation games, covering prominent titles like Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, Nobunaga's Ambition, Taiheki, and Ninja Burai Densetsu. A PALSoft special sticker is also included. The cover prominently lists many games covered inside, such as I Love Donald Duck, Fantasia, Double Dragon 2, Golden Axe 2, Shining Force, Super Fantasy Zone, Sorcerian, Lunar, Solfis, Blue Crystal Rod, and others, many of which tie into the exciting cladrom developments discussed. The magazine also touches upon the 91 Mega Drive Academy Awards Eve Festival. This page is a striking full-page advertisement for the newly launched Sega CD, Mega CD. The bold design features repeating eye motifs on a hot pink background, with text proclaiming that it will blow away your eyes and ears, and its performance is the future. This page highlights the new Sega CD launch, featuring 6 MB RAM, 0.8S access, a 68,000 CPU, and a 49,800 yen price for Hyper Video/Sound. This page showcases 2 exciting early titles coming to the new Sega CD hardware from Wolf Team. First up is Solfis, a stellar shooting game that was originally a hit on the X68000 computer. This version is a complete port for the Mega CD, presented as a side-scrolling space shooter featuring a large cast of characters, and enhanced with a spectacular original prologue sequence, making it ready to scramble on. It was scheduled for a December release, arriving right around the console's launch. Below that, we see Seirashin Seiki Feieria, which is described as a dramatic and fantastic RPG debut for the platform, set for release in mid-December. The text highlights a world-facing cataclysm, with the earth splitting and a giant island shadow appearing. It also mentions dynamic battle scenes, where monsters can instantly grow and shrink, promising powerful and visually impressive combat unique to the CD format. These games demonstrate the diverse genres and enhanced capabilities the Mega CD aimed to bring to gamers right out of the gate. This page features Ernest Evans, another exciting early action title from Wolf Team for the Sega CD, released in early December, coinciding with the hardware's launch. Described as the definitive version of a non-stop hard action game, it promises super real action scenes featuring detailed rotating characters, showcasing the expanded capabilities of the Mega CD format. The page includes a striking illustration of the protagonist, Ernest Evans, along with screenshots of the gameplay. It also details the visual staff, highlighting Madhouse for video production, and the voice cast, notably mentioning the voice actors for Ernest and Annette, who are known for voicing main characters in popular anime like Mobile Suit Gundam ZZ and Yawara. This suggests a strong presentation with professional voice acting. This page features a striking illustration for a historical strategy game from Game Arts for the Sega Mega CD. The artwork showcases prominent figures from Japan's Sengoku period, including likely portrayals of powerful daimyos, set against a backdrop of samurai on horseback and battle scenes. The prominent Mega Drive and Mega CD logos confirm the platform, with accompanying Japanese text explicitly stating this is a title exclusive to the Sega Mega CD. Game Arts is known for quality productions, and this visual presentation suggests a deep, immersive experience centered around warfare and leadership in feudal Japan, taking full advantage of the Mega Drive's capabilities for enhanced visuals, and likely, expanded content or audio compared to a standard Mega Drive release. This page features a detailed look at Game Art's historical simulation game, Tenka Fubu, Roar of Heroes, coming exclusively to the Sega Mega CD. Set in Japan's turbulent Sengoku period, this strategy title promises a deep experience with over 1,200 unique generals, each featuring distinct face graphics and family crests. Players can form independent armies led by trusted retainers or newly subjugated daimyos. The game boasts an intuitive command system designed for ease of play, while also incorporating human factors to create compelling, character-driven drama. Visuals include a strategic map screenshot showcasing the game's interface and a large gallery of character portraits, highlighting the sheer number and individuality of the generals. The page also announces that Roar of Heroes was chosen as the official subtitle following a public contest, naming some of the winners. This is a significant title from GameArts, leveraging the Mega Creed's capabilities for enhanced visuals and scope compared to standard cartridge releases, offering a rich simulation for fans of historical strategy. It's scheduled for release soon, with a standard price of 7,800 yen before tax. This page previews the highly anticipated RPG, Lunar, the Silver Star, for the Sega Mega CD, announced as coming soon. The page is dominated by the game's striking logo and title. A beautiful illustration features the protagonists, Alex and Luna, looking out over a sweeping landscape towards a city in the distance, evoking a sense of adventure and discovery. Several screenshots are included, showing classic RPG gameplay elements such as overhead exploration and turn-based combat with party members. The text emphasizes the feeling of embarking on a journey into an unknown world filled with potential encounters. It highlights the game as a significant title leveraging the Mega CD platform. The illustration is credited to Toshiyuki Kubuka. This page presents a stunning piece of character artwork for the upcoming Sega Mega CD RPG, Lunar, the Silver Star. Following the preview from the previous page, this vibrant illustration showcases the game's central figures. Front and center is Alex, the protagonist, gripping his sword with a determined expression, ready for adventure. Behind him stands Luna, the cheerful heroine, alongside the mysterious and elegant woman, possibly Galeon, a key figure in the story. The image captures the game's anime-inspired aesthetic and hints at the epic journey ahead. The text confirms that this is a title specifically designed for the Sega Mega CD platform, highlighting its significance as a major release for the system. The artwork by Toshiyuki Kubuka continues to impress, setting a high standard for the game's presentation. This page introduces the intellectual mystery game, Nostalgia 1907, arriving on the Sega Mega CD. Already released on PC platforms like the PC 9801 and X68000, this version promises enhanced visuals and sound, witty dialogue, and quality voice acting to deliver an immersive experience. The striking central artwork, framed like a ship's porthole, depicts a woman looking out at a dramatic maritime scene. Small screenshots showcase the game's visual style, featuring character interactions and events. Developed by Surde Wave and published by Takeru, Nostalgia 1907 for Mega CD was slated for release in early December at an estimated price of 7,200 yen and includes an original soundtrack CD. This page features a special report investigating a training school for game creators, specifically focusing on Bantan Design Institute's Game Software Creator course. The article highlights the emergence of talented creators in the industry and how specialized schools like Bantan offer a pathway into this field. It includes short interviews with students and instructors, sharing their motivations for pursuing game development, their experiences at the school, and their future aspirations in the gaming world. Photos show students actively engaged in learning, including shots of them working on computers, likely programming or designing games. The page also provides brief details about enrollment periods and upcoming trial seminars for prospective students. This page features an advertisement for Puzzle Construction, a software title specifically designed for the Sega TerraDrive system. The page highlights the software's capability to fully utilize the TerraDrive's unique dual CPU architecture, allowing users to create their own puzzle games. It showcases interfaces for a menu, a graphic editor where users can design characters and visuals with full color control, and a parts editor for setting parameters like score size and position. The aim is to empower players to decide the rules and create the characters for their own games. Japanese idol Yumiko Takahashi is featured prominently in the center of the page. The software is currently on sale for 9,800 yen. The page also includes a list of stores across different regions of Japan, where interested customers can find the TerraDrive hardware itself, necessary to run the software. This software title clearly taps into the creative potential offered by the TerraDrive's powerful hardware for the era. This page continues the theme of creating games, Shifting focus to the Sega TerraDrive system itself, it highlights the TerraDrive's impressive capabilities for the time. Powered by its unique dual CPU architecture featuring both an 80,286 for PC tasks and a 68,000, the same processor at the heart of the Mega Drive, enabling excellent graphics and performance. The page showcases creative software editors available for the system, including a rule editor for customizing game logic, a sound editor for manipulating BGM and effects, and a background editor for visual design. The TerraDrive runs Japanese Cream's Windows version 3.0, offering a powerful platform for creation. It also mentions support for connecting AV devices and boasts high-resolution VGA graphics and FM sound, perfect for producing games. The page also promotes the Terra Summit 91 event in Nagoya, described as a large gathering featuring the TerraDrive and All-Star game software, which would certainly include a wealth of titles from the Sega Mega Drive library. Different models of the TerraDrive are listed with their prices, positioning it as a significant investment for enthusiasts looking to both play and create. The system's blend of PC functionality and Mega Drive power made it a fascinating, albeit niche, part of Sega's history. This page showcases two upcoming Sega Mega Drive titles from Treco. First up is the fighting action game, Fighting Masters, featuring a roster of 12 distinct characters, each with unique combat styles. The game promises varied moves, ultimate action, and challenges including massive boss characters. Players can utilize the environment, like walls and obstacles, for strategic attacks, and engage in two-player versus battles. It was scheduled for an early December 1991 release, priced at 6,800 yen. The screenshots depict characters battling in different arena settings. Below that is Task Force Harrier X, an enhanced port of the popular arcade shooting game, Task Force Harrier. This version for the Mega Drive includes the original 12 stages, plus a brand new final stage, offering a powered-up and unique experience compared to the arcade original. Set to be released in late December 1991 for 8,800 yen, the screenshots show intense top-down aerial combat. Both games promise excitement and fun for Mega Drive owners. This page presents a striking two-part illustration highlighting two games from Treco. The upper section features dramatic artwork for the fighting action game Fighting Masters, depicting a chaotic clash between various monstrous and robotic characters, alongside the human fighters Dirk and Wolf, all set against a backdrop of space and a distant Earth. Dominating the center of the page, in large red text, is the phrase 200%, which serves as a bold promotional statement, implying an intense or powered-up experience. Below this, the lower section showcases artwork for the enhanced arcade port Task Force Harrier X, featuring a powerful explosion and several Harrier jets engaged in dynamic aerial combat. This visual presentation effectively promotes both diverse titles from publisher Treco. This page features a special interview with Kazuhiro Echizen, the creator behind the Cosmic Fantasy series. Echizen discusses his start in the industry, sparked by seeing a job advertisement, and how he prioritizes character design when developing the games. He explains the relationship between Cosmic Fantasy 1 and 2 by comparing them to the dynamic between Kamen Rider 1 and 2, where the second entry focuses on significant supporting characters. The interview also highlights the differences between the PC Engine Creedrom Squared version and the Mega CD version of Cosmic Fantasy, noting that the Mega CD release combines two games, offers faster animation, but has different color palettes. Future aspirations, such as a potential film adaptation, are also touched upon. The page includes a photo of Echizen, a screenshot from the PC game Despringar, and promotes a giveaway for a signed illustration by the creator. This page showcases a preview of the Sega Mega Drive RPG, Minato no Tsureija, developed by Telenet Japan under their new Riot brand. The page features a large, evocative illustration depicting four adventurers observing a fortified city nestled in a snowy mountain landscape. The accompanying text sets a dramatic, atmospheric tone, describing the stillness after a storm and a silent question posed to a young member of the party about their purpose and quest. Scheduled for a December 1991 release, this title was a new intellectual property for Telenet at the time, focusing on a romantic and adventurous RPG story. While no gameplay details or screenshots are provided, the artwork and text establish a mood of epic fantasy and exploration in a harsh environment, hinting at the journey and mystery awaiting players. Exile for the Mega Drive, developed by Riot and published by Telenet Japan, is an action-RPG title set for release on December 9th. It blends the two genres, offering both RPG and action gameplay. This version is ported from PC and PC Engine versions. The game features two main modes, an RPG mode with a top-down perspective for town exploration and interaction, and an action mode utilizing a side-scrolling view for combat and dungeon traversal. The interface displays health and magic points, while a command window manages weapons, magic, items, character status, and saving. The status screen provides character details. Controls involve the A button for the command window, B for jumping, and C for attacking. A downward thrust is executed with down and a while jumping. The page presents action shots showing gameplay. This page is divided, showcasing upcoming titles from Telenet Japan. The left side highlights The Legend of Valis, an action game on an 8-megabit cartridge featuring its schoolgirl protagonist, set for a December 1991 release. The right side promotes Exile, an action RPG on an 8-megabit cartridge scheduled for late November 1991, displaying its main characters and promising a journey into the crevice of time. The bottom promotes a new brand campaign from Riot/Telenet Japan. This page dives into the early journey of Exile, starting right after the opening. You begin in the assassin village, where forming your party and gathering information by talking to everyone is key. The combined stories point you towards the Syria desert, where a suspicious character is lurking. Before heading out, you'll need to get equipped. The village has weapon and medicine shops, though the guide points out medicine is notably expensive. With your preparations made, it's time to venture into the desert. A crucial part of the early game is recruiting companions. Rumi joins you almost immediately. As you talk to people, you'll also meet Kindi, Urusu, and a mysterious fakir. The guide strongly recommends assembling a 4-person party before tackling the first major obstacle. Heading to the desert transitions you to a world map screen, where you recover health and magic, and choose your next destination. Initially, your movement options are limited. The Syria desert itself holds secrets, like hidden items. The guide mentions exploring the antlion hell dungeon within the desert, warning that antlions are tough and suggesting dodging their charging attacks. Finally, the page highlights the first major boss, the gatekeeper, guarding the exit from the desert. The guide confirms that forming a strong party of 4 is essential to overcome this hurdle and truly begin your adventure. The artwork at the bottom emphasizes the game's action elements with a dynamic pose and the phrase, "Cutting in two with a single stroke." This page features a striking promotional image for Cosmic Fantasy Stories on the Sega Mega CD. The artwork showcases the game's main characters in action against a celestial backdrop, including the protagonist, a female companion, a black cat creature, and a small green mechanical creature. The text proudly announces the game's arrival on the Mega CD platform, proclaiming, "We will protect the peace of the galaxy," and highlighting that this is a popular series long awaited by fans. It credits Kazuhiro Ochi for the original work and character designs, and Shohei Ohara for the mechanic designs. Scheduled for release in February 1992, the page also promotes a new brand commemoration campaign, where players can collect points from eligible Riot brand products to receive original telephone cards, adding an extra incentive for fans. This looks like an exciting entry in the series, making its way to the Mega CD. This page features the upcoming Sega Mega Drive release of the acclaimed PC strategy game, Tenka Tuitsu, also known by the subtitle Ruler of the Chaotic Age on this platform. Announced as a complete port, the game is set to launch on November 29th. This title is a deep historical simulation, putting players in the shoes of famous Sengoku period daimyo, like Oda Nobunaga, Takeda Shingen, and Uesugi Kenshin, among many others. The goal is simple, yet challenging. Unify Japan under your banner. The game promises realistic portrayal of historical figures and events, focusing on military strategy, politics, and diplomacy in the turbulent Warring States era. The screenshots show the game's interface, featuring a detailed map of Japan, troop movements, and character statistics, typical of this genre. This port looks poised to bring the strategic depth of the PC original to the Mega Drive, offering fans of historical simulation a chance to rewrite history on their console. This page introduces Valis SD, a spin-off title that takes the popular Valis series in a completely new direction. Gone are the darker fantasy themes and detailed sprites of the main series. Valis SD transforms the world into a vibrant, comical action game featuring super deformed, chibi versions of its characters. The main artwork showcases Chibi Yuko alongside various classic Valis villains in a cute, exaggerated style. The accompanying text highlights the game's focus on fun and laughter, describing it as a side-splitting action game. It mentions that the cool heroine, Yuko, becomes a cute warrior and faces off against bizarre boss characters appearing one after another. The game promises a comical Valis world that players can enjoy without difficulty. This seems to be a promotional announcement aiming to attract fans with its lighthearted approach and familiar characters presented in a charming new style. This page features 2 new releases from Knuckle, bringing arcade action home in a double version lineup. On the left is the Berlin Wall for the Game Gear, a puzzle action game where players dig holes with a hammer to trap and defeat enemies, obtaining special items along the way. This version is scheduled for release on November 29th. On the right is World for the Mega Drive, known internationally as Trog. This is also a puzzle action title sharing similar gameplay mechanics of digging and trapping. The artwork features the iconic Trog monsters from the arcade game. This version is slated for release in late January '92. Both games are presented as remakes or adaptations of recent arcade titles, emphasizing their puzzle-solving action across 5 stages. They also highlight the enjoyable simultaneous 2-player mode. These releases showcase Knuckle bringing popular arcade concepts to Sega's platforms. This page features a striking promotional image with a large gargoyle silhouetted against a bright moon or light source, surrounded by dark, reddish architectural elements. Vertical Japanese text on the right translates to, "The world is targeting Japan." Below this, a quote in English states, "Micro World, bringing the world's greatest game software to Japan." Prominently displayed is a logo, Micro World, within a yellow box, featuring a globe graphic, reinforcing the theme of global software arriving in Japan. Text below this announces December landing in Japan, indicating an upcoming release or launch. The specific title being promoted is identified below as Stormlord. This appears to be an announcement or advertisement from a company or brand called Microworld, highlighting their initiative to bring international game software to the Japanese market, with Stormlords being one of their initial offerings, set to arrive in December. This page is a promotional spread featuring a striking illustration of a samurai or warlord character, likely Oda Nobunaga or a similar figure from the Sengoku period, holding a firearm. The page announces the release of 2 major Koei strategy games across multiple platforms, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2 and Nobunaga's Ambition, Bushou Funroku, also known internationally as Nobunaga's Ambition, Lord of Darkness. The logos for Koei, Super Famicom, Famicom Family, and Mega Drive are prominently displayed. The text highlights the key features of both titles. For Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, it emphasizes the evolution of the series, with sophisticated tactics, diplomacy, and duels set across the Chinese continent. Nobunaga's Ambition, Bushou Funroku, is presented as the 4th installment, bringing the Azuchi-Moyama era to life with detailed elements like tea ceremonies, firearms, and armored ships, covering 48 provinces from north to south in Japan. Both games are announced for a December release. The bottom of the page includes information about Koei's telephone services and related merchandise. This page features a grand illustration showcasing heroes and figures from the world of Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, including key characters like Liu Bei, Guan Yu, and Zhang Fei. Prominently displayed is the announcement that both Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2 and Nobunaga's Ambition are now available, or soon to be available, on Super Famicom and Mega Drive, targeting a December release. Below the large central text band celebrating the console releases, the page displays the physical box art for both Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2 and Nobunaga's Ambition across various platforms, confirming their arrival on these popular systems. This page also details a wealth of associated merchandise for these classic strategy games, including guidebooks, novels, comics, and even soundware and strategy videos for fans looking to delve deeper. This page features the distinct logos of 2 major players in the Japanese game industry, Sega and Falcom, along with their respective corporate details and contact information in Tokyo. A prominent calligraphic statement declares the birth of a new company. This new entity is revealed below as Sega Falcom Inc., complete with its own logo, address, and a philosophical quote suggesting the value of eagerly assimilated knowledge. This page essentially announces a significant collaboration or merger between Sega and Falcom, leading to the formation of Sega Falcom Inc. This page is a recruitment advertisement for the newly formed Sega Falcom Company. Following the announcement of the collaboration between Sega and Falcom, This page features a calligraphic statement that translates to Sega style and Falcom style, and we want your style of doing things. The text explains that Sega Falcom was started to pursue grand dreams that the individual companies couldn't achieve alone, and seeks individuals with strong personalities and determination to join them. They are recruiting founding staff for both game production roles, including programming, graphics, music, and game design, and other positions like planning, sales, and advertising. The ad provides details on working location in Yoyogi, Tokyo, standard hours and benefits, and instructions for applying by phone and mail. There are no game screenshots or specific game titles mentioned on this page. This page is the table of contents for the December 1991 issue of BeepMD. It lays out the features and articles within, starting with New Releases Scramble, highlighting several new games arriving on the system, followed by the Be Mega Hot menu, featuring in-depth coverage of popular titles like Golden Axe 2 and Shining Force. A significant section is dedicated to the multimedia era, focusing on the potential of CUDROM, foreshadowing the coming wave of Mega CD games. This leads into the Mega CD Press, giving a preview of titles coming to the new format, such as Lunar. The magazine also covers the lead-up to the '91 Mega Drive Academy Awards. Beyond game reviews and features, the contents include various communication columns and articles, including a mention of the new Sega Falcom partnership, continuing the theme from the previous page. Appendices cover a software directory and a special on history simulation games, featuring titles like Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2 and Nobunaga's Ambition. The page is visually accented with small screenshots showing action and puzzle game examples. This page presents the latest sales data for Sega's systems, offering a snapshot of the market. The Mega Drive Top 10 shows Sonic the Hedgehog firmly holding the top spot, continuing its phenomenal run and contributing significantly to the console's success. A Japanese baseball title, Pro Yaku Super League 91, climbs to second, reflecting its seasonal popularity. The new entry Rent a Hero debuts at number 3. Noted for its unique modern hero RPG concept and impressive background music. The overall analysis suggests the market is stable, with new autumn releases making an impact, while Sonic remains the dominant force. Below, the Game Gear Top 5 highlights Eternal Legend as the current bestseller. The commentary notes that the top titles have been consistent for a few months, but anticipates upcoming releases to shake things up as the year ends. It's a solid lineup, though the market seems poised for fresh blood. This page presents user data on desired game ports for the Mega Drive, featuring a top 20 list. Readers have called out the games they most want to see arrive on the system. The commentary highlights the excitement surrounding the Mega Drive due to releases like Sonic and titles from Sega and Falcom, suggesting that while things are busy on the surface, many more potential big releases or ports are being discussed behind the scenes for the coming year. The list includes popular arcade hits like Street Fighter II, Final Fight, and Night Striker, as well as PC and console favorites such as Silent Mobius, Princess Maker, Lords of the Lodoss War, SimCity, and Final Fantasy titles, showing a diverse range of genres users are hoping for. Screenshots showcase games like Final Fight, Legend of Galactic Heroes, Metalhawk, and the SimCity series. Below this, the page shifts focus to arcade trends, with the Shop Data Top 5. Arcade shops are observing the latest video games and their popularity, noting that titles using cutting-edge technology, games based on popular characters, and fighting games are currently drawing attention. They question if this represents the future trend. The list includes Starblade, Rail Chase, Street Fighter II, Super World Stadium, and Clutch Hitter, manufactured by Namco and Sega. Screenshots of Rail Chase and Super World Stadium are displayed. The top 20 most anticipated upcoming games have shifted significantly. Lunar. The Silver Star, a highly anticipated Mega CD RPG, leads with 137 points. Shining Force, a new RPG in the Shining universe, climbed to second place with 73 points. Golden Axe 2, a sword and magic battle game, took third. Sacred Demon Legend, 3x3 Eyes, an RPG based on a popular comic, ranked fourth. Rounding out the top 5 is Tenkafubu, Heroes Roar, a historical simulation game for Mega CD. The rankings highlight a strong showing for Mega CD releases. The remaining spots showcase a mix of genres, including RPGs, simulation games, and action/adventure titles. The document details upcoming software releases for Sega's Mega Drive and Game Gear. The Mega Drive schedule highlights a diverse lineup, including RPGs, Lunar, Shining Force, action titles, Rolling Thunder 2, Shinobi 2i, platformers, Quackshot, shmups, Steel Empire, strategy games, and fighting games. The Game Gear schedule showcases titles like Power Strike 2, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Wonder Boy in Monster World. An editorial accompanies the schedule, commenting on industry trends. It notes Koei announcements and strong user support for NCS/Messiah titles on the Mega Drive. The editorial observes blurring lines between hardware platforms with Konami and NCS entering the Super Famicom market, and the significance of early Masterpiece ports. Finally, the editorial highlights Taito and Sega's expanded presence in new markets, potentially the Mega CD. This soft maker information update highlights various game releases. Sega is launching Fantasia, Mickey Mouse Magic. Taito sends a birthday message, while Namco details Rolling Thunder 2 with translated character names. Riot Japan Telenet recommends Beast Wrestlers and the Delayed Exiles. Asmik announces Battlemaster, a Sengoku simulation. Visco is bringing the arcade game Drift Out to Mega CD as World Rally. Koei presents Nobunaga's Ambition, Lord of Darkness for Mega Drive. Tengen offers Road Blasters and Pit Fighter. Pulsoft refines Neketsu Kuku Dodgeball, BU Soccer Hen, Glacday. Compile introduces GG Aleste for Game Gear. Hot B releases Bad Omen, a blockbreaker. Game Arts works on Mega CD titles, Lunar, Tenchi Fubu, and Elysia Dragoon, and Tua. Wolf Team anticipates Ernest Evans on Mega CD and mentions the Sorcerian port. The AM show in Tokyo showcased the latest arcade trends, with virtual reality being a key focus. While new groundbreaking video games were scarce, Sega's Hologram and Namco's Driving Simulator were highlights. The new UFO Catcher Crane game was a massive hit, especially among young women. Experiential games like D-Cubed Boss also drew attention. Sega presented classic arcade games for reference. Namco unveiled Galaxian Cubed Project Dragoon, a battle shooting game with advanced hardware and support for 16 players. The game features realistic graphics and motion-synchronized seating. In other news, the Terra Summit event in Akihabara featured IBM PC games instead of the rumored Mega CD software, though details on future Mega CD releases were promised. Sega announced a limited Sonic Pack to celebrate the Mega Drive's milestone, including the console, Sonic the Hedgehog, and a phone card. This page is packed with news. The big headline is, legendary F1 driver Ayrton Senna visited Sega and is supervising Super Monaco GP2. He's providing feedback and even his voice for the game, which is coming to Mega Drive, Genesis, Master System, and Game Gear. The Mega Drive version is a substantial 8 megabytes, with the Game Gear at 2 megabytes. Senna apparently visited Sega specifically before the Japan Grand Prix, showing his dedication to this project. We also see a section dedicated to game music releases. The Street Fighter II Candelas is here, highlighting the immense popularity of the arcade hit and the anticipation for its Mega Drive port. Plus, there's a collection of music by Koichi Sugiyama, featuring tracks from 9 titles, including Dragon Quest IV. Speaking of Dragon Quest, Enix is releasing a ton of related merchandise. Down below, Sega held its second Game Grand Prix competition, attracting a massive 2,000 participants for a fierce showdown emphasizing skill and power. Winners of the columns tournament are listed, showcasing intense scores. Finally, there's a look at upcoming events, including a call for suggestions for Sega's Masterpiece series of game music crudes, and a special B-Mega TV program set to air nationally in December. It sounds like a busy end of the year for Sega and its fans. This page introduces the B-Mega Dog Race, a review section for new Mega Drive and Game Gear releases, where games are rated on a 10-step odds scale, with scores averaged from 4 reviewers. The higher the average dog score, the better the rating. Featured here are reviews for 2 action titles. First up is Taito's Lunark, an action game about rescuing animals and chasing a boss. Reviewers found it simple and easy, though some felt the port was a bit disappointing with unnatural character movement and difficulty connecting with the game's message due to English text. It scored an average of 5.5 and 7 from 2 reviewers. Next is Namco's Rolling Thunder 2, the sequel to the arcade hit, featuring agents Albatross and Layla. Reviewers found this iteration significantly more difficult than the predecessor, with one struggling to get past the second stage boss. While the graphics are arcade-like, the map layouts are different, and the charm of the original seemed diminished. Simultaneous play is possible but deemed ineffective. Scores were mixed, averaging 6.25 and 6. The reviews highlight the mixed reception to these ports, with some disappointment compared to earlier arcade or console versions. This review analyzes 4 Sega Mega Drive titles. Fantasia. Mickey Mouse Magic receives a 6.25 for its cute graphics, but poor controls and balance hurt the experience. Ransei no Hasha, a simulation game, scores a 6.75 for its strategic depth and freedom despite weaker graphics than its PC counterpart. Cow.50, an arcade shooter port, earns a 5.75 with awkward controls and plain visuals. Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, a simulation game and direct port, comes in highest at 7.0. While a solid port of a classic, it suffers from inferior graphics compared to its Super Famicom version, alongside high pricing. This page features reviews of 4 different Sega Mega Drive titles. First up is Ninja Gaiden, a simulation game set in Sengoku-era Japan, where 3 warriors rise against Nobunaga. The review highlights its impressive visuals and sound, but notes the gameplay feels a bit heavy and initially difficult to get into, comparing its structure to shogi. It scores a respectable 7.75. Next is Exile, an action RPG that features striking character visuals during action sequences. However, the reviewer found the maps somewhat simple and felt the character movement lacked impact. While the RPG scenes have good progression, the overall impression is somewhat flat. Described as feeling like a sequel to YS2I, it receives a score of 6.0. Then, there is Kuni-chan's Game Heaven, a collection of variety games including tennis, puzzle, likely columns, Daifugo, a card game, and Sugoroku, a board game. While the idea of having multiple games in one package is appreciated, the quality varies. The main scenario mode is deemed too difficult, and some individual games feel underdeveloped. It scores 6.5. Finally, we have GG Aleste, compiles intense shooting game series arriving on the Mega Drive. Despite being quite hard, its incredibly fast pace prevents it from feeling stressful, which is praised. The reviewer enjoys the gameplay's feel, but notes the controls might be a little awkward. It's considered a solid entry for shooting game fans, and scores 7.0. This page features reviews for 2 Sega Game Gear titles and an editorial commentary on the month's releases. First is Arleal, a fantasy simulation game, the first true simulation of its kind on the Game Gear. Featuring character designs by On, the reviewer found it enjoyable despite some simulation elements feeling slightly light. They praised the ability to capture monsters, the cute characters, and its accessibility, noting it has a good balance suitable even for those new to the genre. It scores an 8. Next is Space Harrier for the Game Gear. This port of the classic arcade shooter is seen as a letdown by the reviewer compared to the Mark II-I version. Criticisms include sluggish movement and a lack of effort in the conversion quality, resulting in a disappointing score of 5. The editorial section discusses the growing trend of RPG and simulation hybrids, highlighting Ninja Gaiden and Arleal as key examples this month. The editor notes Arleal draws inspiration from acclaimed titles like Fire Emblem and Langrisser, particularly praising its unique, covered system. Other releases like Rolling Thunder 2 and Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2 are briefly mentioned, with the editor ultimately favoring Arleal and Ninja Gaiden as the most enjoyable titles this month. This page introduces the BeepMD Reader Race, where readers rate Mega Drive games on a 10-point scale, and the average scores are published like horse racing odds. The core of the page is a ranking table, Odds Table A, showing the top games based on reader votes, with rankings, previous ranks, game titles, and average scores. This list goes down to 42nd place. Featured reviews highlight specific games from the ranking. El Viento at 9th place is praised initially, but criticized for its game balance and final boss difficulty, though the opening demo is noted as excellent. Galaxy Force 2, ranking 32nd, is enjoyed for its missile shooting, and BGM, reproducing the arcade feel well despite some minor issues and its known difficulty. New entries include Pro Yaku Super League 91 at 53rd, which is seen as having wasted potential due to character inconsistencies, and Megatrax at 86th, an arcade port found disappointing for lacking key mechanics and speed. Crackdown, appearing outside the main list at 96th, is discussed for its ports, some control issues but an exciting versus mode. A brief commentary notes El Viento's surprise high ranking and mentions other movements in the list, like advanced military combat and Streets of Rage climbing and outrun dropping. Screenshots of the featured games illustrate the reviews. This page continues the Mega Reader race, detailing more results from the reader ranking of Mega Drive games. It highlights several games with featured reviews and expands the ranking list. In the single pick horse introduction, 4 games are featured. Rainbow Islands Extra, at 62nd, is praised for its cute characters, music, and simple controls, making it easy to get into, despite some differences from the arcade version. Truxton, Tatsujin, ranked 73rd, is noted for its high difficulty, though the free continues make it bearable. Its power-up system and challenging last boss are mentioned. Cutie Suzuki's Ringside Angel, coming in at 74th, is described as initially seeming basic, but becomes fun once you grasp the techniques. Fatman, ranked 110th, is heavily criticized for poor controls, but is noted for having unique characters and hidden moves that make it somewhat interesting. The ranking continues with Odds Table B, listing games from 43rd to 87th place, showing their ranks and reader average scores. The Losing Ticket introduction section features games that didn't fare well. Space Invaders 90, at 121st, is disliked for changes like a damage system and horizontal scrolling, losing the original's tension. Shitten Mew, ranking 128th, is criticized for small characters, stiff movement, and basic graphics, feeling like an old Famicom game and lacking personality among its characters. Finally, there's a section with reader comments, providing brief opinions on various games, and a small note about a contest winner. Odds Table C ranks Mega Drive games from 88th to 133rd. Street Smart and Fireshark are mentioned as being near 20th, potentially a typo. A close race for last place is noted between XDR and Phantasy Star II. A special editorial ranks Mega Drive manufacturers by average game score. GameArts leads, but with only one game. Toplan, Technosoft, and Vic Tokai rank highly. Sega is comparatively lower, possibly due to a larger game library. Contests invite readers to predict the rank of Monster World 2 Eyes and the average score of Devil's Crush. Reader race recruitment is ongoing. Sonic the Hedgehog remains in first place. Super Monaco GP and the Shinobi series maintain strong positions. Newer releases like Shining Force 2, misspelled, are declining in rank. This page features the new release Scramble, highlighting upcoming titles. The main focus is on the Mega Drive game Chibi Maruko-chan Waku Waku Shopping, released on January 7th. This game is presented as a significantly upgraded version of the earlier Famicom title, boasting improvements in graphics, sound, and overall system. The game adopts a Sugoroku, or Japanese board game, format. Players join Maruko, Tama-chan, Hanawa-kun, and Maru-kun on a journey that turns into a shopping competition. You move around a map by spinning a roulette, landing on spaces that allow you to buy items in shops, which increase your points and influence the game's progression. Strategy comes into play with a variety of cards that offer different effects, from movement boosts to defensive measures. The goal is to complete a set number of loops on the board, with the winner being the player who has accumulated the most points. Screenshots showcase the game's charming pixel art, depicting the board map with various locations like Tokyo and a southern island, the shop interface with items and prices, and examples of the cards players can use. The game system is likened to the popular Momotaro Dentetsu series, indicating a fun, competitive party game experience. This page features previews of several upcoming action titles. First up is Pit Fighter, an arcade port from Atari via Tengen, bringing its signature realistic digitized characters and brutal fighting action to the console. The developers promise a faithful port, retaining the sweat and blood of the arcade original, despite characters being slightly smaller. Next, Tengen also presents Road Blasters, another Atari arcade conversion. This is an action racing game, where you blast through 50 waves of enemies, while managing fuel and hitting checkpoints. You'll face not just cars, but bikes and other hazards as you race down the highway. Sega is bringing to Itaki, known as Juju Densetsu in Japan, scheduled for release next January. Based on the TAD arcade game, it tells the bizarre story of a man turned into a monkey who must rescue his love in a prehistoric world. Expect platforming action, spitting fireballs, and encounters with strange ancient creatures across 8 stages. Finally, Lasersoft Nihon Telenet gives us SD Valis, a super deformed take on the popular Valis series. This side-scrolling action game features cute, chibi versions of heroine Yuko and all the enemies. While the look is softer, the gameplay is a challenging action experience reminiscent of Valis 2 Eyes, including new moves. It's presented as a must-play for fans of the series. This page previews Growl, an arcade action game ported by Taito to the Mega Drive. Stepping into the role of one of 4 heroes, players embark on a mission to protect animals from poachers. It's a classic beat-em-up style game where you fight enemies using various attacks, including punches, kicks, throws, and picking up weapons like whips, guns, and even rockets found in the environment. The game features a unique mechanic where you can rescue various animals like lions, elephants, and deer, who will then assist you in combat, adding a fresh twist to the genre. The 4 playable characters, Jen, Byrne, Khan, and Jack, each have distinct fighting styles and special moves, encouraging replayability and strategic character selection. The screenshots showcase the diverse environments and the animal-saving action. While an arcade port, it offers a simplified, yet engaging fighting system that makes you want to jump in and save the creatures. This page features previews for 2 upcoming games. First up is current F1 Grand Prix, presented as the final game supervised by the retiring F1 driver Satoru Nakajima. This Mega Drive title is a detailed top-down free-run simulator, covering the entire 16-race season. Players choose from 15 teams, but the game features a unique contract system where failing to meet performance goals can result in a game over, while picking a weaker team offers poor support, making wins difficult. The review praises its deep simulation aspects, reflecting Nakajima's real-world experience. The second game highlighted is Valis, the Phantasm Soldier, a Mega Drive action title from Riot/Telenet. Described as part in of the story leading into Valis 2 Eyes, it chronicles the transformation of ordinary high school girl Yuko Asou into the legendary Valis warrior. While the story follows the original PC version, the gameplay system is a complete rework, adopting the style and feel of Valis 2 Eyes. The game includes numerous visual scenes and character patterns, explaining backstories for characters seen in Valis 2 Eyes. Screenshots show character portraits, including Yuko, and action gameplay segments, featuring bosses and platforming. It's noted as a nostalgic title for longtime gamers familiar with the series. 2 upcoming Sega Mega Drive games are previewed. Task Force Harrier X, a vertical shooter, expands upon the arcade version, with enhanced power-ups and original content. Players can arrange 2 option units into 4 formations: normal, attack, defense, wide, for strategic combat across 12 stages with unique bosses. F1 Circus MD, a realistic F1 racing title, is based on the PC Engine version. It focuses on the '92 F1 season with Nichibutsu's sponsorship of Team Lotus. New features like a mini-map enhance accessibility while retaining the series' high-speed racing. This page previews 4 upcoming Mega Drive titles. First up is Minato no Traisia, an RPG from Riot/Nippon Telenet, described as a sweet and emotional RPG. Development is a bit delayed, but details on its strategic, grid-based battle mode are highlighted, where characters move automatically after setting targets. Next is Dana, Megami Tanju, an action game from IGS. This side-scrolling adventure sees the protagonist Dana fighting enemies, sometimes while riding a large creature. The reviewer mentions dealing with foes by stomping or swatting them away. Below that is Iron Empire from Hot B, a hard-hitting shooting game with a unique RPG-like level system where collecting items grants experience points to strengthen your ship, and the ability to shoot backwards adds a new dimension to the gameplay. Finally, there's Bad Omen, Provisional, also from Hot B. This is a new take on the block breaker genre, called an action block breaker, featuring vertical and horizontal scrolling, a fantasy horror theme, and players controlling 2 paddles to guide a ball to a goal while dodging obstacles and enemies. This page features the Hyper-Technology Lecture column by Aki Nihiyaku. The column discusses the coming age of multimedia and CRIDROM technology, looking beyond just games. The author mentions attending the Multimedia 91 event and seeing Commodore's CD-TV, which displayed digital video playback on CD-ROM at 15 frames per second. This capability, especially relevant to the upcoming Mega CD, suggests it could be a strong rival to game consoles, but also capable of much more. The column then focuses on an English education software called Shinbun, created by Bob Moore, an expatriate living in Japan. While still floppy-based at the time, it incorporates graphics and sampled voice for pronunciation practice. The content is derived from actual English newspaper articles, such as one about money falling from a ceiling, and includes exercises like filling in crossword puzzles and listening comprehension. The author notes that such software, utilizing the capabilities of ClueDrum like large data storage for sound and graphics, shows the potential for the Mega CD and the coming era to be used for educational purposes as well as entertainment. The screenshot shows the software's interface with an illustration accompanying the text and a crossword puzzle exercise. The overall sentiment is that the arrival of multimedia and ClueDrum technology means it's time to think about using these powerful new systems for studying, not just playing games. This page features the Sega Falcom Communication Column, Act 2, which focuses on the aim of creating games centered around MegaROM. It begins with a discussion featuring Kazuo Yano, chief of Sega's Domestic External Affairs Department and a key figure in the establishment of Sega Falcom. The article explores the pursuit of originality and the unique culture being built at the new company, starting from scratch and blending talent from both Sega and Falcom. Yakuno discusses the differing game development philosophies of the two companies, contrasting Sega's project-based, efficiency-focused approach with Falcom's emphasis on valuing individual creativity and teamwork. A screenshot accompanying the article appears to be from an action RPG, showing character stats and inventory. The page also includes a section showcasing some of the game design proposals and ideas sent in by readers, including character art, a request to port a game called Venasath to the Mega CD, and a game design sketch. The column also invites further submissions from readers for ideas for the column itself. The next page continues the Sega Falcom communication, titled Steadily Progressing, and highlights that Sega Falcom's goal extends beyond just games. The article features a discussion with Kazuo Yano and the newly appointed development manager, Yu Kamimura, who is the first official employee of the venture. They discuss the enthusiastic response to staff recruitment, the plan to build a two-team development structure, and their approach to hiring, balancing experienced staff with training new talent to foster a unique culture, combining Sega's efficiency and Falcom's creative strengths. Kamimura touches on Falcom's strong RPG image and expresses hope that Sega Falcom can enhance Sega's RPG presence, particularly aiming to leverage the Mega CD platform for both ports of existing Falcom titles and original games. The article emphasizes a broad vision for Sega Falcom, detailing business objectives that include not only game development, but also books, merchandise, events, and even motor racing activities, positioning the company as a comprehensive entertainment entity. The page includes the same RPG screenshot seen previously, and a section inviting readers to submit game ideas, port requests for Falcom titles to Mega Drive or Mega CD, and other creative proposals. It also provides a list of past Falcom releases on various platforms. This page is dedicated to reader feedback under the title BeepMD Letters, specifically focusing on this month's bad games. It features an illustration of a typewriter and two people tending a plant. Various readers share their disappointing experiences with Mega Drive titles. One reader found Telephone Mahjong boring despite its interesting concept of using phone lines for multiplayer. Another was frustrated by Wrestle War, describing it as difficult and unenjoyable, ultimately selling it quickly. The Mega Drive port of Twin Cobra was criticized for poor graphics and unsatisfying gameplay. Shining in the Darkness had a disappointing ending scenario compared to the classic Phantasy Star IV. Sword of Sodan was deemed unplayable due to awful graphics, controls, and balance. Finally, games like XDR and Nastar were cited for poor operation and balance, proving to be frustrating disappointments despite their names. The page concludes by setting the theme for the next month's letters: feedback on the upcoming Shining Force. This page is the Say Whatever You Want About Games section of BeepMD, where readers send in their thoughts and opinions on various games. One reader gives feedback on the ending of Sonic the Hedgehog, finding it surprisingly short and anticlimactic, given the effort put in. However, they praise the game's speed and gameplay as revolutionary for the time, comparing it favorably to games like Super Mario World on the Super Famicom. Another reader also criticizes Sonic's ending for its brevity, but acknowledges that the limited cartridge size might be a factor, expressing hope for a sequel. Other readers discuss a game library concept, highlighting interesting puzzle games like Ridoru Wayado, and mentioning a quiz game with amusing answers. There's also a cryptic mention of a game called Super Sly, and something called Lolipo, that's hard to figure out. Positive feedback is given for games that offer good value, like Mercs, known as Senju no Ukami 2 in Japan. which included multiple game variations on a single cartridge. Another difficult puzzle game, Pyramid Magic, is also mentioned.
The section includes comments on game difficulty and the satisfaction of overcoming challenges. At the bottom of the page is a collection of illustrations submitted by readers, showcasing fan art for several popular titles. Featured games include Lunar, The Silver Star from the Mega CD, Phantasy Star II, Golden Axe, Dragon's Lair, also on Mega CD, and Sonic the Hedgehog. There's also a small panel specifically for Mega CD-related submissions.
This page continues the Say Whatever You Want section of BeepMD, featuring more reader feedback on the Mega Drive scene. Readers share diverse opinions. One expresses frustration with the scarcity of Mega Drive software in their local area, specifically mentioning the difficulty finding popular titles like Streets of Rage, unlike the readily available games on the Super Famicom. They ponder if the large Mega CD case size contributes to stocking issues. Another reader discusses their perspective on the industry, noting Sega's strong overseas performance and expressing hope for the home console division, while praising Sega's overall growth. There's also a request for Sega to port more European games, highlighting Europe's importance as a market. A different reader voices concern over the perceived shift in game development towards niche anime-style titles, preferring classic gameplay types like Outrun or Columns, and points to high game prices as a barrier for fans. The page also includes an update on the Fastest One time trial event, listing the current top performers challenging the Suzuka track. Finally, a brief note mentions the upcoming release of Fire Pro Wrestling Gaiden this summer.
This page continues the BeepMD section with reader submissions and observations, titled Binto and Focus. Readers have uncovered some fascinating details about the Mega Drive scene. One reader points out a striking resemblance between the costume worn by a female vocalist in a photo and the outfit of Miu from Phantasy Star II Eyes, especially the design around the thighs. They suggest the game's character designer might have taken inspiration from this. Another reader highlights that the title logo for the game, Axe equals Battler, likely Golden Axe Warrior, featured in an advertisement, strongly resembles the logo for the Kamen Rider RX series. They note the similar color and font style. Further observations include a discovery about the background art in the Mega CD game Katsugeki Shintoryu, Zanyasha and Bukyoku. A reader noticed that the tiger, dragon, and bird depicted in the backgrounds bear a close resemblance to famous Japanese paintings, specifically Hashimoto Gaho's Dragon and Tiger and Araki Kanpo's Peacock. These comparisons are supported by images on the page, including postage stamps featuring the dragon and tiger painting. There's also mention of a photo of idol Yumiko Takahashi being used in a previous issue's coverage of Scramble Free 1 Grand Prix, prompting discussion about its significance. Finally, the section announces the winner of the monthly BeepMD Grand Prize, awarded to the reader who submitted the observation about the Phantasy Star II costume resemblance. This reader will receive a game as a prize. This page of the magazine features reader-submitted content, starting with a humorous manga about the Mega Drive. An apology is issued for numerous errors in the November issue, correcting title names, screenshots, and misidentified individuals across several articles. The page then outlines how readers can contribute to BeepMD Land through various sections, including game reviews, industry feedback, observations, Q&A, complaints, and illustrations. Prizes like software or book coupons are awarded for published contributions. Finally, the page announces the winners of October's presents, listing readers who won games and items like Galaxy Force 2, El Viento, and Creds, among others. The page also provides the address for reader submissions. This page introduces a brand new serialized column by Jam Ojisan, offering his candid thoughts on the TV game industry. This first installment focuses on the highly anticipated Mega CD add-on. Jam Ojisan observes that while Sega is currently enjoying significant success with popular titles like Shining in the Darkness, Advanced Military Commander, and Sonic the Hedgehog, which have driven domestic Mega Drive sales past 2 million units, the industry overall is showing signs of stagnation. He notes that even the Super Famicom appears to be struggling to gain traction beyond 2 million units. The column then delves into what is expected from the Mega CD. A pie chart provides a breakdown of the genres for the initially scheduled software releases. There's also a comparison detailing the hardware characteristics of the PC Engine CD-ROM² and the Mega CD, highlighting their respective strengths like color capabilities, memory, and sound features, along with the announced number of supporting companies and titles. Photos of the consoles and the Mega CD attachment are also featured.
This mail-order catalog from November features discounted games for various systems. Super Famicom highlights include Zelda, A Link to the Past, and Street Fighter II. Famicom offers Super Mario Bros. 3, and Dragon Quest IV. PC Engine has Raiden and CD-ROM squared hits like Prince of Persia. Mega Drive presents Sonic the Hedgehog, Streets of Rage, Shining in the Darkness, and action titles like Mercs. Game Boy features Drive, Mario, and Final Fantasy Legend 2, while Game Gear includes Ninja Gaiden. The Neo Geo section showcases early hits like King of the Monsters. Orders can be placed by phone. Prices include tax, are for new products only, and are subject to change with market fluctuations. Items may occasionally be out of stock.
This page highlights an interesting event called the G7 Gamers Summit, described as an urgent gathering for gamers of all kinds, from experts to beginners, to freely share opinions and get advice, particularly for those new to home arcade setups. The main product featured is the Kix S91, a new 6-button controller box released in '91, specifically noted for Street Fighter II compatibility. Key features includes video output for superior image quality, rapid-fire functions, and multiple output options. It comes in different types, ABC, tailored for various video setups, VHF RGB, with prices ranging from 29,000 yen to 38,000 yen. There's also an optional vertical/horizontal converter. Monthly bargains are listed, including arcade ports like World Stadium 89 for 35,000 yen, King of the Monsters for 15,000 yen, and Mahjong Kushi for 6,000 yen, noting limited stock. An accessory Mahjong panel is also available for 8,000 yen. Ordering is via cash on delivery, and contact details for KIC are provided, including a map to their showroom and a paid phone number for inquiries, including the G7 Summit. This page features an advertisement for Santa, a Sega specialty store. It showcases various Sega consoles like the Game Gear and Genesis/Mega Drive, alongside a wide selection of software and accessories. The page highlights upcoming games with special Santa prices, such as Double Dragon 2, Golden Axe 2, Donald Duck, and Fantasia. It also features sections for new software accepting pre-orders, including titles like Beast Warriors, Rolling Thunder 2, and Lunar. There are price lists for various games, including a ridiculously cheap corner, and compatible software lists for using the Master System adapter on the Genesis/Mega Drive. Accessories like controller pads, cables, and adapters are also listed. Ordering information, including prices and shipping details, is provided. This is an advert for a specific store. This page features promotional artwork and logos for 2 games. The top section shows vibrant artwork for Double Dragon, specifically promoting Double Dragon: The Revenge, depicting characters engaged in combat within a city environment. Below this, the page includes repeated logos for Double Dragon: The Revenge, and logos for Undead Line, featuring a design with a skull, sword, and claws. Copyright information from Technos Japan, T&E Soft, and Palsoft is present, indicating the year 1991. The bottom section showcases atmospheric artwork for Undead Line, portraying a dark, stormy landscape with floating islands illuminated by lightning, alongside a larger version of the game's logo. Small text on the left confirms the page is from a December 1991 issue of BeepMD magazine. The next page is a simple yellow background with some faint texture and small specks, appearing to be a blank or filler page with no distinct content. The next page presents part 1 of the latest hot game releases on the Genesis, featuring quick mentions of Golden Axe 2, Fantasia, and Shining Force. The main spotlight here is on Quackshot starring Donald Duck, described as a follow-up to the popular Castle of Illusion. This adventure takes Donald Duck on a thrilling global treasure hunt, traveling by private plane to exotic locales. The article praises the game's enhanced graphics on the Genesis, and details Donald's quest to retrieve treasure while thwarting the Beagle Boys. Screenshots showcase distinct locations, such as arid deserts in America and Mexico, a foreboding castle in Transylvania, and busy city streets. It also highlights some useful items found during the journey, including corn, which serves as ammunition, ice cream and meat for restoring health, extra lives, and chili peppers for temporary invincibility. The overall impression is a large-scale, charming Disney platformer with strong visuals and music. This page focuses on the American stage in Quackshot, the exciting adventure starring Donald Duck. It kicks off by introducing the starting area, emphasizing that players should use this stage to master the controls, which are also shown as customizable. Donald's main weapon is the plunger, which,
true to its name, sticks to enemies, temporarily stopping their movement. You'll need to be quick and proactive with it. The page also details some key items and hazards. Chili peppers are highlighted as giving temporary invincibility, linked to the temper meter displayed on screen. Be careful of enemies on the second floor who drop objects like flower pots. Watch out for birds carrying beehives too. They'll drop them, unleashing a swarm of bees. There's even a peculiar enemy bouncing between trash cans. It doesn't attack, but requires careful timing to get past. Comparing it to its predecessor, Castle of Illusion, the article praises the game's beautiful graphics and animation, noting it continues Disney's strong showing in character games. A crucial point revealed is that progress is eventually halted until you find a specific item. To get it, you'll need to use the plane to fly to another country, like Mexico, suggesting the game involves traveling back and forth to progress. The next page continues the deep dive into Quackshot starring Donald Duck, moving on to new locations and mechanics. We head to the Mexico stage, where you'll encounter challenging cactus enemies that split upon being hit, requiring quick use of Donald's plunger. The article encourages taking a moment to appreciate the background art after dealing with the threats. Next up is Transylvania, famously the home of Dracula. This spooky stage features enemies that shoot a slow, wavy slime instead of straight projectiles. The game highlights the atmospheric feeling of Dracula's castle. The page also touches upon a non-linear element, noting that progress requires specific items obtained by traveling to different countries like Mexico or Transylvania using the plane, sometimes even needing to revisit areas for help from partners who provide useful items. Inside Dracula's castle, things get tricky with underwater sections and confusing layouts that demand strategic thinking. Defeating Dracula, the boss awaiting you at the end, rewards you with a new world map. This map reveals 4 additional stages: the South Pole, Egypt, India, and the Viking lands, making it clear the adventure is far from over and now truly in the player's hands. The page also mentions the use of items like a bubble gun to clear obstacles and highlights techniques like bouncing off walls using the plunger. This page proudly announces the return of the classic fighting action game Golden Axe 2 on the Sega Mega Drive. While keeping the core system intact, the game features completely renewed maps, magic attacks, and enemy characters. The beloved 3 heroes from the original are back, and the developers promise an experience that lives up to fan expectations. The release date is set for December 27, 1991, priced at 6,000 yen. The article highlights the game's power-up Resurrection, noting the exhilarating action of the heroes against monsters. Visuals have seen a significant improvement, particularly the magic effects, and Tyrese Flair's updated, more stylish costume. The popular Versus mode also returns, described as a pure combat practice arena where magic books are unavailable. For this mode, the article specifically recommends choosing Gilius Thunderhead, emphasizing his expertise in hand-to-hand combat. A preview of the first 2 stages is provided. Stage 1, a riverbank battle, serves as a warm-up against common enemies and features Morningstar as the boss. Stage 2 moves to a grand building with many skeletal enemies who are tougher than those in Stage 1. Players are advised to stock up on magic, and the large boss is a skeletal knight clad in bronze armor. The page also notes strategy tips, like using magic on weaker enemies and finding spots where foes approach one by one. This page continues the coverage of Golden Axe 2, focusing on the 3 returning heroes and their unique playstyles. It's emphasized that choosing the character best suited to you is crucial, as each specializes in either magic or melee combat. Axe Battler is presented as a balanced fighter, decent at both close combat and magic, making him a versatile choice. His special attack hits enemies in front and behind, useful for crowd control. His magic involves controlling tornadoes, powering up through 6 stages. Tyrese Flair is the magic specialist, a former queen whose homeland was destroyed by demons. She excels at powerful fire magic but is weak in close combat. Her level 3 magic is described as the strongest flame magic. Gilius Thunderhead is the master of melee combat, described as a lively old man and Tyrese's teacher. While his magic use is limited to earth spells like Rockfall, his speed and attack power are significantly higher than the others, making him an excellent choice for players who prefer brawling. The article also touches upon the bonus stage, where wizards disguised as frogs or snails drop health and magic items when defeated. Additionally, sneak thieves appear, dropping stolen goods when hit, which also restore health and MP. Finally, it highlights the score screen shown after each stage, which displays your efficiency and number of enemies defeated. This provides bragging rights and a clear view of player performance, especially noticeable in 2-player co-op.
This page covers the Sega Genesis game Fantasia. Following up on the success of Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse, this title is a faithful adaptation of the classic Disney film, promising an emotional experience. It was released on November 22nd for 4,800 yen. The game puts you in the role of Mickey Mouse as the sorcerer's apprentice. After falling asleep while guarding the sorcerer's musical scores, the notes are stolen. Mickey must embark on an adventure to recover them, with the article asking what kind of journey awaits him. The visuals and audio are highly praised. The graphics feature impressive parallax scrolling, where the background moves behind Mickey, adding depth. The sound design incorporates classic music from the film, which is described as a refreshing touch. The review highlights Mickey's varied actions, enabled by his role as the sorcerer's apprentice, allowing him to use two types of magic. Basic moves like jumping are shown, along with specific attacks. A hip attack, pressing down plus jump, for defeating enemies, and two types of magic shots, up plus attack, and presumably attack plus another button or combination. The article encourages players to experiment with these different actions and magic spells, noting how adorable Mickey's animations are when performing them. There's also a brief mention of the enemies, describing them as unique and faithful to the original animation. This page takes a closer look at the initial levels of Fantasia, starting with Stage 1. World of Water's Edge. This stage begins inside the sorcerer's mystical laboratory, quickly throwing you into action, with numerous enemies appearing. As you progress, the stage opens up to a dynamic water area, featuring aerial lifts and waterfalls, which can be quite demanding, testing your platforming skills. The water itself is a hazard, causing damage if you fall in, making jump timing critical. You'll also encounter fairies. Interacting with them can lead you to underwater sections. The page then moves on to Stage 2, the world of Earth's surface. A vibrant jungle environment filled with dinosaurs that attack relentlessly from the sky and ground. This stage feels like a continuous battle against these prehistoric foes. As you venture deeper, you might encounter dark caves, which are described as particularly tough, and even face startling obstacles like the enormous foot of a monster bird. The diverse settings from the serene waters to the intense jungle and treacherous caves highlight the game's visual spectacle, contributing to its cinematic feel. This page features an advertisement for Taito's beat-em-up game, RunArc, known as Growl internationally. The ad includes promotional art, a comedic image with large calligraphic text saying, "There is mystery," and highlights the game's action gameplay. This page features an announcement for the Sega Mega Drive game, Makio Echu Jishi. Prominently displayed on the left are large, stylized characters that read, Kono Mano, roughly translating to this thing or this person, serving as a striking visual element. On the right, the title Makio Echu Jishi is shown above key artwork depicting two figures in dramatic kabuki-style costumes, the legendary Red Lion and White Lion. The text explains the game is set in the late Edo period, where these two legendary figures rise to challenge Dark Kabuki, which seeks to control the Kabuki world. The page indicates the game is currently on sale for 6,800 yen, excluding consumption tax. This page unveils details about Shining Force, Legacy of Greatness, a 12-megabit strategy RPG for the Sega Mega Drive. It offers a glimpse into the game's world and introduces several key characters. The article sets the stage on the vast Rune continent, where the Guardiana Kingdom, tasked with protecting the Legacy of Greatness, stands against the dark forces of Rune Faust. The narrative revolves around the clash between light and darkness, promising an engaging conflict across a huge world map. While the full force includes around 30 characters, players will select an elite party of 12 for battle. The page highlights several members of the Guardiana Forces of Light, with their portraits and descriptions. We see Max, the human protagonist who is a warrior capable of using both swords and magic. Other party members introduced include Ken and May, both centaur knights, Gort, a hot-blooded dwarf warrior, and Lowe's, a dwarf priest and Max's childhood friend. Battle screenshots showcase the isometric view and character sprites during combat encounters, like Max facing off against a rune knight. The article notes the anticipation for the game's release and the ability to level up and promote characters, adding depth to the gameplay. This page delves into the antagonists of Shining Force, focusing on the forces aligned with Rune Faust. The top section introduces several key characters with their portraits, classes, and races, including Hans the Archer, Teo the Mage, Diane the Archer, Zappa the Werewolf, Gunts the Steam Knight, Chip the Monk,
and Kokichi, the Wing Knight. Below a large title proclaiming the Rune Faust Forces of Darkness, the text notes that, while most characters on the Rune Faust side are monsters, much about them remains shrouded in mystery. 2 screenshots show combat, including the protagonist Max, facing a large monster. The lower part of the page presents various enemy units and monsters encountered from the Dark Army, each with an illustration and brief description. These include the Dark Priest, Sniper, Dwarf, Puppet, the 2-headed Cerberus, a stone gargoyle, a massive worm, the deceptive mimic treasure chest, the jester-like Helpero, and the headless knight Delahan. The article highlights the variety of foes players will face. This page discusses the user interface and controls in Shining Force, highlighting how they inherit and improve upon the system from Shining in the Darkness. The article praises the user-friendly controls, noting that complex RPGs and simulations benefit from intuitive systems. It specifically mentions the enhanced pop-up icons from the previous game are adopted, allowing quick access to commands like the world map display shown in a screenshot. The focus then shifts to the character Yogurt, a mysterious figure who joins the player's army, but sometimes interacts oddly with enemies. Described as a baffling character with unknown allegiances, Yogurt is noted for his constant presence and unusual, almost entertaining, behavior patterns. His physical data is detailed. 80 centimeters tall, around 10 kilograms, walks on 2 legs with vestigial forelegs, and primarily eats nuts. An illustration of his internal structure is shown, labeling his head as intelligent, hands unable to use tools, legs good for short walks and jumps, and a firm but quick belly. He is omnivorous, agile, good at swimming, and the origin of his helmet and what's beneath it are unknown. The page concludes with humorous illustrations depicting Yogurt's bizarre actions, from digging holes to unexpectedly flying away. This page presents a special feature announcing the arrival of the multimedia era and exploring the potential of Klydrom technology. The article discusses the recent release of the PC Engine Duo and the highly anticipated launch of the Sega CD, highlighting how various CDBA-SED machines like the CD-TV and CDI are starting to appear. It delves into what CD-ROM is and its capabilities, stating a thorough investigation was conducted as the multimedia age is already upon us. Illustrations depict various ways people interact with this new technology, playing games on what appears to be a Sega Genesis console with a Sega CD attachment, using a portable device, singing along to music from a large stereo system, listening to music with headphones, and controlling something on a TV screen with a remote. A prominent image shows the Sega Genesis and Sega CD units stacked together. A diagram illustrates the evolution and interconnectedness of CD and Laserdisc formats from the early 1980s to the early 1990s, showcasing the development of formats like CDV, CD-ROM, CDI, CDG, VSD, and the emergence of multimedia games, charting the path towards the interactive experiences these discs enabled. This page continues the special feature on the rise of multimedia, focusing on the release of the PC Engine Duo and the anticipation for the Sega CD. It explores the market reaction to the Duo's launch and the potential challenges for both platforms, particularly concerning software availability. An interview snippet with Shogo Shimura discusses the Duo's initial sales performance. We see photos of the PC Engine Duo console and an Amiga setup, likely featuring the CD-TV unit. The article also covers multimedia showcases from the Electronics Show 91 and Audio Fair 91. At the Electronics Show, the Philips CDI player is highlighted, with mentions of games like Sports Golf, Caesar's Palace Gamble, Battleship, and Mahjong Academy, alongside a portable CDI player from Sanyo. The Audio Fair featured Klydrom demonstrations, emphasizing the potential of multimedia content, including compressed video and images, with systems like FM Towns and DVI players shown. It's clear the industry was grappling with how this new CD technology would impact gaming and entertainment. This page delves into the world of CDI, questioning its capabilities and potential, especially in the context of gaming and its rivalry with the Mega CD. It clarifies that CDI operates on a global Green Book standard, ensuring worldwide software compatibility. Philips is set to launch its player soon with numerous titles, though the price is noted to be considerable. The article also addresses the various CD formats in development, highlighting that while they share the same physical media, the way data is formatted differs, and importantly, notes CDG compatibility with the Mega CD. The diagram illustrates Craddy's broad multimedia scope, covering applications from games and music to education and information, all accessible via a standard TV. Sony is also mentioned as developing its own CDI hardware for the Japanese market. CD-ROM technology ushered in the multimedia era, surpassing audio with video, text, and large data storage thanks to compression. Applications ranged from karaoke and mapping to gaming and databases. The article highlights Philips CDI as an interactive multimedia standard, particularly for karaoke systems like Mikoto, the first CDI karaoke system. CDI integrated images, sound, and text, offering software for different Japanese dialects. CD-ROM's storage capacity was ideal for map databases, enabling location searches, a feature also found in devices like Sony's Data Discman. While gaming options on CDI were limited initially, the article anticipated future development. The piece showcases hardware like Sega's Mega CD and Sony's Data Discman, and provides visuals of the various CD-ROM applications. This page delves into the practical side of CD-ROM technology for the Mega CD, showing how the discs are actually manufactured and discussing the costs involved. The article provides a step-by-step look at the production process, from creating the master disc to replication, printing, and packaging, showcasing factory photos to illustrate the machinery and techniques. It emphasizes that mass production of CDs is remarkably fast compared to traditional room cartridges. The piece then explores the economics, noting that while manufacturing costs per unit are lower and production is much quicker for creds, the development costs and time for the software itself might not see as drastic a reduction initially. It concludes by checking in with game retailers, who express excitement for the Mega CD, but stress that the success hinges on the quality of the games released, regardless of the format or manufacturing efficiency. This page features an interview with Mr. Junichi Egawa from Japan Victor's JVC, AVE Amusement Business Promotion Office, discussing their strategy for the burgeoning multimedia era and their involvement with the Mega CD. JVC sees CD-ROM as the core technology for future multimedia applications, encompassing karaoke, games, movies, and music. They are actively developing products like new CDEG-compatible karaoke systems, believing karaoke is a key entry point for consumers into multimedia. JVC is collaborating with Sega on an integrated Mega CD unit planned for release next spring, seeing the Mega CD as a highly promising platform for the multimedia age, emphasizing interactive entertainment that is accessible anytime, anywhere, and with anyone. The page includes photos of Mr. Egawa and one of JVC's new CDEG karaoke systems. This page features Act 3 of the Be Funny Face Everyone Sonic Communication column, penned by Hiroyuki Takahashi. The main article discusses his experience testing Dragon Quest VI, and how the Dragon Quest series, particularly Dragon Quest II Eyes, was a pivotal moment that led him into the game industry and eventually to Enix, now Square Enix. He highlights the importance of nationwide RPGs like Dragon Quest for the industry, and as a target for Sega, expressing hope that Sega games can catch up. The page includes a screenshot from a Dragon Quest game, reinforcing the theme. There's also an image promoting Shining Force, indicating it's nearing its exciting climax. The bottom section is a review corner for submitted game design ideas, called Elephant's Hole, where various RPG concepts, including a Mega CD project and a 3D RPG, are evaluated by Takahashi, offering feedback on creativity and feasibility. This page features several columns from different contributors. Masaki Wachi's Scary Stories DX discusses the current state of Shining Force development, noting they are now working on town and message content, which is mentally easier than prior stages. He also shares personal anecdotes about creative work challenges and daily life. The Hiroshi Naito's Here We Go column focuses on his experience driving an NSX for the past year, and features a photo of Ayrton Senna that Naito himself took. He then addresses a fan inquiry about Shining Force's pricing, stating that despite its 12 MB size, it will be released in the 8,000 yen range, not exceeding 10,000 yen. A small graphic reinforces this point. Commander Taguchi's special column, written by someone else filling in, talks about Taguchi's recent purchase of a striking gull-wing car. Finally, the This Month's Maxim section critiques how game music is often judged solely based on the game's overall quality, proposing a feature idea to find and highlight hidden masterpieces of crap games. This page features several columns and a detailed look into game production. Professor Tagawa's column titled Weekend Space Trip, touches upon a public space travel program and the training involved, alongside a personal anecdote about finding a mysterious old photograph. A side note clarifies that the person pictured is indeed Yoshiki Tagawa, and readers are directed to the previous month's Shining Force article, linking him to the game's production. Above the main article is a fun comic strip by Tamagoro, featuring characters that look very much like Sonic, Tails, and Amy Rose, captured in humorous poses. The main feature is a Shining Force production diary. It delves into the development process after the completion of Shining in the Darkness. The article discusses the fatigue of the staff and the internal discussions about what the next game would be. Ideas ranged from a sequel to Shining in the Darkness to projects for the Game Gear, before the decision was made to create a large-scale RPG for the Mega Drive, which became Shining Force. It highlights how the graphical team pushed for an anime-style presentation, ultimately winning out. Towards the bottom, there's an ending note, apologizing for the temporary suspension of a serialized novel. Adjacent to this are recruitment calls looking for new staff members, specifically mentioning the need for character and background designers with experience, even referencing Shining in the Darkness character design as an example for submissions. Another small piece discusses reader engagement and hints at upcoming Sonic content. This page is Volume 7 of the Genesis Information Bureau column, focusing on games from Virgin Games. It begins by discussing the excitement of the Terminator movies, particularly Set 2, before introducing the news that Virgin Games is releasing the Terminator game on the Genesis. The article highlights the game's premise of going back in time to find the titular machine, and includes screenshots showing various environments like rooftops and interior stairwells, capturing the feel of the movie. The page also touches on Virgin Games' background, noting their historical role as a European distributor for Sega's systems, before becoming a prominent third-party developer. Another title featured is Corporation. Described as a game of infiltration, players navigate 3D labyrinths within a futuristic corporation to recover a dangerous mutant weapon. Screenshots display the first-person perspective, showing combat encounters with enemies like mutants and cyborgs, alongside the game's interface for managing energy, equipment, and inventory. The text mentions this game was already available on other platforms like the Amiga. The reviewer seems excited about these upcoming Genesis titles from Virgin Games. This page continues the look at upcoming Genesis titles from Virgin Games. Following up on the discussion of the Terminator game, it highlights that this adaptation, developed by Probe Software, extensively utilizes images from the movie for storytelling between levels. The reviewer notes how effective this is, but questions the timing of the Japanese release of the first game, when Terminator 2 was already available overseas. Screenshots show tense moments from the film recreated in the game. The page then introduces another Virgin title, the humorous side-scrolling action game Chuck Rock. Players control the titular prehistoric character who attacks with kicks and a unique belly flop. The game's style, featuring encounters with dinosaurs and pterodactyls, is compared to titles like Bonk or Joe and Mac, but noted for its distinct, almost psychedelic English sensibility, which the reviewer suggests shows a clear Monty Python influence. Screenshots showcase the colorful, albeit monochrome in print, prehistoric landscapes and character sprites. The article concludes by expressing anticipation for Virgin Games' selection of titles. A small image also shows the Genesis controller, specifically referencing its use for explaining the Terminator's controls. This page details the highly anticipated 3rd Annual Mega Drive Academy Awards, an event selected entirely by the users, for the users, celebrating games released between November 1, 1990 and November 1, 1991. This feature introduces the nominated titles and outlines the voting process for readers. A drawing depicts a figure holding an award, symbolizing the event's significance. The core of the page is a comprehensive list featuring all 84 nominated games from this period. This extensive table provides details for each title, including the game's name, its developer, the original Japanese release date, and its genre, such as SHT for shooter, ACT for action, RPG, SLG for simulation, etc. While the list is long, it showcases the incredible breadth of software released for the Genesis platform during this time frame. Notable nominees include titles like Ghouls and Ghosts, Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse, Shadow Dancer, Granada, Musha, Streets of Rage, and Mercs, highlighting the system's diverse library and the strong support it received from various developers. The article emphasizes that the winners will be announced in the upcoming February issue. As an added incentive for voting, they are also giving away prizes. including Mega CD consoles and Genesis software. This page serves as both a celebration of the past year's releases and a call to action for fans to participate in choosing their favorites. The 1990 Mega Drive Academy Awards honored fan favorites across various categories. Super Monaco GP won in non-genre specific. Thunder Force 2. I took the shooting category, while Sorcerian was recognized for RPG. The Revenge of Shinobi won for action games, and Columns took the prize for other categories. Character awards were also given out. Hiryu from Strider and Tyrus from Himclip won Best Male and Female Lead, respectively. Saren Mue and Lena from Phantasy Star IV were recognized in the supporting roles. The Grand Master from Strider won for Best Enemy, with Rappy from Phantasy Star winning Best Minor Enemy. The Magic Stone from Columns was named Best Item, and Phelios Sword from Phelios won Best Weapon. This review serves as a look back at the previous year's best. This page details the categories for the 3rd Mega Drive Academy Awards, inviting readers to vote for their favorites. Categories include Best Armor, covering defensive items across genres; Best Music, highlighting games utilizing the Mega Drive's sound capabilities; Best Transplant, for arcade or other system ports; and Best Script, for story and setting, including backstories. Other categories like Best Visual Art, Best Special Effects, Best Direction, and Best Package are also featured, looking for outstanding technical and artistic achievements. The previous awards' top titles like Thunder Force, 2i, and Sorcerian are mentioned as points of reference. Beyond game-specific awards, the page introduces the Sensational Cafeteria Grand Prize, a revamped award for the most impactful topics surrounding the Mega Drive industry that year, mentioning past topics like the announcement of Game Gear and Mega Drive reaching 1 million units sold. Readers are encouraged to participate by submitting their votes for each category, with a chance to win prizes like a Mega CD console. The deadline for voting is also noted. This page features the final installment of Naoto Kadokura's Game Designer's Territory column. Kadokura shares his personal desires for future games, outlining several unique concepts. He proposes a virtual dwelling type historical simulation game, focusing on experiencing daily life within a specific historical period and location, using the ancient Silk Road Kingdom of Lulan as an example. He also discusses a hypothetical 4D game, suggesting incorporating time or abstract concepts visualized through 3D graphics rather than a literal fourth dimension. Another idea is a game based on transformation myths, envisioning an RPG where the player changes forms like in Greek Tales, impacting gameplay and perspective. Kadokura concludes by highlighting the computer's ability to bring imagination to life and the need for exploring unknown possibilities in game design. The page is accompanied by a playful illustration. This page provides readers with the instructions and form for the magazine's survey postcard. It outlines how to fill out the postcard, including marking answers on the survey sheet and properly cutting it out. The survey aims to gather crucial feedback from the readership, covering demographics like gender, age, and occupation, as well as gaming habits such as the number of Mega Drive games owned and which gaming magazines they read. It also solicits opinions on the magazine itself, asking readers to rate its content and overall image and list articles they found interesting or uninteresting. A key part of the survey is question 10, which asks readers to pick the single game they most want to buy from a lengthy, numbered list. This list features a wide array of titles, primarily for the Mega Drive and Mega CD, showcasing upcoming and recent releases like the Super Shinobi 2, Shining Force, Elysia Dragoon, Prince of Persia, Rolling Thunder 2, Lemmings, and many others, giving insight into the hottest anticipated games of the time. This page gives us an early look at the upcoming Mega CD, covering its features and confirming its launch is imminent. Originally planned for December 1st, the launch is slightly delayed, but software development seems to be progressing smoothly. The hardware itself has seen improvements since its reveal at the toy show, most notably becoming slimmer. It connects to the Mega Drive via a board that slots into the cartridge port, with the Mega Drive sitting on top. Operation is done entirely through the Mega Pad and on-screen menus, controlling the front-loading CD mechanism. You can't operate the drive from the front panel buttons, only indicators light up. The built-in software includes an opening screen and a settings screen, accessed by pressing the start button. These are built into the unit, so you don't need a disc inserted just to access them. The article mentions it's mostly complete and feels quite solid despite being lighter than it looks. Titles highlighted in the header as upcoming releases include Ernest Evans, Solfis, Lunar, Tenkafubu, Nostalgia 1907, Heavy Nova, Woodstock, possibly Woody Pop or similar, Dark Wizard, Wizard, Shining Force, CD, Seima Densetsu, 3x3 Eyes, Cosmic Fantasy, Isle Road, and Spirit of Wonder. It looks like the Mega CD is getting ready for launch, and we just need to wait a little longer. This page is dedicated to the Mega CD title Ernest Evans, which was previously mentioned as an upcoming release. It excitedly announces the public debut of the game's visual scenes, something readers were apparently eager to see, as their absence had caused some anxiety after the game's initial announcement. The magazine praises the quality of these visual scenes, stating they feature beautiful graphics that effectively convey the game's atmosphere and style. The page is dominated by a large illustration of the protagonist, Ernest Evans, in a vehicle, hinting at the game's adventurous setting. Additional images include the game's title screen, several stills from the visual scenes presented in a film strip style, captioned, "The Whip Roars," and a screenshot of the action gameplay for Stage 1. One visual scene image shows Ernest with a quote, "Whether it exists or not, that's something I'll confirm." There's also a section detailing the initial stage set in southern Mexico, involving a treasure hunt for a mysterious item called The Image of Coatlic. This first adventure is described as an introductory chapter, designed to familiarize players with Ernest's character before the main story unfolds. The overall impression is one of a cinematic action-adventure game, leveraging the Mega Creed's capabilities. This page continues the exploration of the Mega CD title, Ernest Evans, detailing the next stages of the adventure. Following the initial hunt in Mexico, Ernest's journey takes him deep into Peru, the setting for stages 2 and 3. His goal here is to recover an ancient document, said to be hidden within the mysterious Shrine of the Wind. After successfully navigating the shrine, Ernest encounters the beautiful Annette, a key character rescued at the end of stage 3. The action then shifts dramatically to Europe for stage 4, set aboard the legendary Orient Express. Here, Ernest is pursuing Capone's minion, Siegfried, but finds himself ambushed by assassins. Adding to the intrigue, a striking, albeit seemingly villainous woman, also makes an appearance. The page is filled with vibrant character portraits of Ernest, Annette, and the new mysterious woman, alongside gameplay screenshots depicting the challenging environments and combat. A film strip on the right showcases dynamic action sequences, giving a taste of the game's animation style as Ernest and Annette are caught up in the chaos. This page effectively builds anticipation by revealing new locations, characters, and plot points after the game's introductory chapter. This page continues the journey of Ernest Evans, detailing the events and challenges in stages 5 and 6. Having been trapped by Capone in Chicago, Ernest and the rescued Annette are surprisingly aided by Siegfried, Capone's own subordinate met earlier in Peru. Stage 5 is a chaotic escape through the city, hilariously featuring Annette behind the wheel of a Jeep in a sequence that culminates in a crash, forcing them to proceed on foot. The boss for this stage is revealed to be a formidable flying vehicle. Following the escape from Chicago, Stage 6 takes the adventure to the vast Gobi Desert, where Siegfried claims the ancient Chronomicon and secrets of Capone's ambition are hidden. This stage introduces bizarre desert creatures, like a giant flying centipede, and other unique enemies. The map design is straightforward, simply leading players to the right. The preview concludes here, teasing further plot developments involving Siegfried and the mysterious woman encountered on the Orient Express, promising more details in the next issue. This page focuses on Solfis, the upcoming shooting game for the Mega CD, highlighting its imminent release alongside the console itself. Development is reportedly progressing smoothly, with the opening cinematic now complete and public. Following up on last month's coverage, this issue provides strategy and tips for stages 3 through 5, alongside previously unrevealed visual scenes. The article praises the game's quality, attributing it to the tuning by staff known for the game Granada, and asserts that its content is on par with arcade shooters, designed to satisfy even hardcore fans. A key feature emphasized is the full animation sequences made possible by the CD format, which includes detailed character close-ups and cockpit views. The page also introduces the voice cast for the game, featuring notable actors like Kaneto Shiozawa, known for roles such as Rayan in Fist of the North Star and D in Vampire Hunter D, and Yumi Tuma, known for playing Deedlit in Record of Lodos War and Cecily Fairchild in Mobile Suit Gundam F91. This page continues the Solfi strategy guide, diving into stages 3 and 4. Stage 3 centered around an artificial sun, sees a significant difficulty increase. The focus shifts to dealing with fast enemy swarms and avoiding the splash damage from megaton bombs, which explode near your ship, requiring quick vertical movement to survive. The mid-bosses, 2 creatures, are simple if you target their heads. The main boss is the grotesque Heat Viper, a multi-jointed bioweapon. Its weak point is its head when exposed, and players must avoid its dangerous green spreading projectiles. Stage 4 takes place on a massive enemy space cruiser. The objective here is to dismantle the cruiser by destroying its fixed laser cannons and turrets. This stage also introduces the backfire attack ability, useful for hitting enemies behind you, requiring practice to master. The main boss is BR-227, another bioweapon. Its weakness is the central eyeball, but you must constantly move to the opposite side of its segmented body to avoid being crushed between its upper and lower sections. This page provides essential tactical advice for navigating 2 challenging later stages of Solfease. Stage 5 of Solfease is a challenging level near an enemy space base, known for its relentless enemies and deadly rear attacks. Players are warned of instant death upon collision with walls and tricky backfire attacks. The guide uses screenshots to demonstrate these hazards, including enemies from behind, laser walls, and sudden obstacles. The stage boss, Halberd, a laser cannon, is surrounded by turrets that must be destroyed first. The article also covers the El Viento Game Tournament, held in Tokyo and Osaka in September. It highlights the event's presence across multiple locations, showcasing photos of participants and winners from various stores in Tokyo and Osaka, and a diverse range of competitors. This page features Lunar, the silver star on the Mega CD, highlighting how the platform's large capacity is being utilized for music and voice acting in this RPG. Development is progressing well, with a focus on the main theme song and the opening anime. Singer Mayumi Sudo provides powerful vocals for the main theme, and also sings other character songs, including Luna's theme and a lively song for the dancer character you encounter in town. The article details the voice recording sessions for the mid-game demos, where professional voice actors perform while watching the game's visuals, bringing the characters to life. Screenshots show the anime-style opening and various pixel art scenes, including the town dancer who is noted to actually sing and dance in the game. The content emphasizes the rich audio experience players can expect. This page continues detailing Lunar, the silver star on Mega CD, shifting focus to the game world itself. It provides an overview of important locations players will visit early in their adventure, and explains where to acquire essential gear. Featured locations include Berg, the quiet farming village where the protagonist, Alex, begins his journey. Saith is presented as the island's only port town, serving as the gateway to the continent and a hub for travelers seeking information. Maribia is described as a bustling, free city, a major metropolis and center of commerce under the rule of the Beastman General. Screenshots show the pixel art depictions of each town, along with a world map highlighting their positions. The page also covers shopping, noting that obtaining necessary items is crucial for adventure. Shops are categorized into item shops, like a typical RPG general store, selling healing items and status cures, weapon shops, offering various weapons like swords, axes, and whips, and armor shops, providing defensive gear. The text suggests these shops are vital for preparing for the challenges ahead, advising players to earn money and purchase the best equipment they can afford to ensure survival. Screenshots display the interiors of these different shop types. This page continues the exploration of the world in Lunar, the silver star, detailing the various environments players will navigate. It highlights 2 main dungeon types: the classic labyrinthine caves, exemplified by the Cave of the White Dragon, and the multi-story towers. Both leverage the Mega KD's capacity, offering varied colors, items, and puzzles. Also featured is the Shrine of Althena, dedicated to the world's goddess. These shrines are crucial support points found throughout the field, functioning much like churches or healing centers. Visiting them restores the party's HP and cures debilitating status effects like petrification, making them essential stops for recovery. Moving beyond traditional fantasy elements, the page introduces 2 brilliant minds, Mighty and Batten. Despite magic being prevalent, these 2 focused on technological innovation, specifically the steam engine, which they envisioned as a source of energy accessible to everyone. Mighty dreamt of flight without magic, while Baton pursued speed on the ground. Their efforts resulted in groundbreaking technology, showcased by a screenshot of an airship, implying the party will utilize this steam-powered invention for travel. This interview with Cube, the sound team for Lunar, the Silver Star on Mega CD, explores the game's extensive audio design. Cube leveraged the CD-ROM format to create high-quality music, sound effects, and voice acting, surpassing cartridge limitations. They composed roughly 30 music tracks, collaborating with the animation team on the opening sequence. A large sound effects library of approximately 110 effects enhanced gameplay. The interview highlights key musical tracks, like battle themes, Luna's theme, and the ending theme. The voice acting, particularly Kuko Inoue's performance as Luna, is praised. The article also profiles Cube's background, mentioning their work on games like Langrisser and YS2I. The piece includes photos and teases further coverage of Lunar in the next issue. This page dives into Tenka Fubu, a historical simulation game-by-game arts for Cardrum. The article expresses anticipation for the game's upcoming release and highlights its strategic depth, mentioning that ruling the land isn't just about strength, but also fortune, and dealing with events like natural disasters. The completed title screen is shown, depicting fiery imagery that sets the tone for the battles to come. A major focus is placed on Scenario 2, the Sekigahara campaign set in the winter of 1600. A map illustrates the initial distribution of power between the Eastern Army and other forces. The page prominently features the key commanders appearing in the Sekigahara scenario, displaying pixel portraits and family crests for numerous historical figures such as Tokugawa Ieyasu, Deite Masamune, Mori Terumoto, Shimazu Yoshihiro, and many others who played pivotal roles in this era. The article notes how the faces of the commanders have changed compared to earlier periods, and mentions the presence of both established veterans and new rising powers. A side feature on the left highlights the writer's beloved commander, focusing this time on Kuroda Kanbei, known for his strategic brilliance as Toyotomi Hideyoshi's advisor, and his son, Kuroda Nagamasa, both featured with their game portraits. This page delves into the unpredictable world of event phases in historical simulation games, building on the discussion of gameplay mechanics from the previous page. It explains how these events, occurring at the start of each turn, season, or year, can drastically alter various parameters like troop morale and citizen sentiment. The article notes that there are around 19 types of events, ranging from beneficial to detrimental, keeping players on their toes. The page showcases several specific event types, with accompanying screenshots, typical of the pixelated style of games from this era like Nobunaga's Ambition or Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Events covered include the death of a commander, succession within a clan, bountiful harvests, famines, typhoons, earthquakes, rebellions, and the discovery or collapse of gold/silver mines. Each section briefly describes the event's impact, illustrating how chance and circumstance play a significant role alongside strategy and military might. These random occurrences add depth and challenge, forcing players to adapt to unforeseen circumstances that can change the course of the game. This page features an interview with Cass, the sound creator from Meccano Associates, discussing the music for the game Tenka Fubu. He explains the sound design process, starting with meetings, to capture the right feel. The goal was an orthodox style, reminiscent of historical dramas, aiming for an orchestral sound using PCM and FM sources, and incorporating traditional Japanese instruments where appropriate. Cass highlights the technical challenges of creating a sense of 3D sound, involving techniques like using multiple mics and reverb, despite the hardware limitations. The page includes a photo of Cass himself, looking relaxed in a recording studio environment, with various audio equipment behind him. Additionally, a side panel announces the winning subtitle for Tenka Fubu, decided by a contest, Heroes Roar. The article mentions the contest received around 300 entries, and thanks the participants for their suggestions. This page provides a follow-up report on the adventure game Nostalgia 1907 for the Mega CD. It highlights the acquisition of the latest screenshots and details about the sound recording process. The article notes a significant improvement in the game's visuals compared to earlier versions and the X68000 release. The new screenshots clearly show character sprites within the environments, which were absent in previous previews. The graphics boast a much richer color palette and smoother detail, reducing the blockiness seen in the X68000 version, and the reviewer is genuinely impressed by the MegaCard's visual capabilities, describing the screens as looking like actual Mega Drive game visuals, but enhanced. They anticipate the characters will move realistically, making the game feel more alive. Screenshots display various scenes, including a room interior and a dynamic exterior view. Additionally, the report covers the game's sound production. It details the recording sessions, where voice acting and, notably, vocal tracks were recorded. This is a key feature mentioned, as the game will include songs with lyrics performed by a vocalist, adding depth to the narrative. The article also confirms that the game comes bundled with a soundtrack CD featuring one of these vocal songs. Photos show individuals, likely voice actors and production staff, engaged in the recording process within a studio environment. This page continues the discussion on Nostalgia 1907, focusing on its innovative interaction mechanics. The article highlights the attitude control system, a feature where the player character's chosen attitude doesn't just affect dialogue, but also influences the non-player character's responses and even their attitudes and postures, making conversations feel more natural and dynamic than typical command-based adventure games. Screenshots demonstrate subtle changes in characters' seated positions and expressions, labeled simply as changes, illustrating this concept. Furthermore, the game boasts unique reactions from characters depending on who they are and the situation, moving beyond basic animations seen in older titles. The reviewer notes this adds a significant layer of realism and human-likeness to the game's inhabitants. Nostalgia is touted as the first game to truly give characters their own will on screen. Adding to the immersion, all characters feature full voice acting. The page includes character images with labels like Suspicious Woman and Arrogant Guy, giving a glimpse into the diverse cast and their potential roles in the story. This page continues the dive into Nostalgia 1907, detailing the escalating events that challenge the protagonist, Kasuke. As the investigation deepens, a second and third incident occur. First, a time bomb is discovered in the starboard warehouse. The player must use the Charlie system to disarm it, a tense moment where one wrong move could be fatal for everyone on board. Following the bomb threat, a murder takes place. While the victim isn't revealed, the article emphasizes that this event is also connected to Russia's fog, the central mystery. Screenshots show the bomb disposal interface and a grim scene of the murder. The page also highlights the game's intricate character relationships with a section titled Swirling Human Relationships, featuring portraits of various crew and passengers, hinting at the complex dynamics Kasuke must navigate. Finally, a reader campaign is announced by Shieldwave, offering the PC or X68000 version of Nostalgia to 5 lucky winners who send in their application details to the magazine's editorial department. Heavy Nova is a mech action game for the Mega CD. Lauded for its CD format utilization. Originally slated for room, its quality warranted the shift, offering smooth animation and a unique world. The game boasts an opening and ending sequence with a song. The story depicts an Earth saved by aliens, the Akalov, only to face an 8-year war due to an Akalov conspiracy resulting in the Heavy Doll unit. Players navigate a single-player mode, undergoing training and battling bosses to earn the Heavy Nova title. The 2-player battle mode is the game's highlight, featuring mech wrestling mechanics beyond basic attacks. The game presents several mechs, each with distinct abilities and special moves, from Jidar's Piledriver to Zam's Zoom Punch. This page introduces the Mega CD RPG, Planet Woodstock, subtitled The Funky Horror Band. It's highlighted as a unique musical RPG from Sega, leveraging the CD format. The game centers around a 6-member alien band called F.H.B. Born from a fictional world. The story follows a young protagonist who must search for the band's lost instruments. A key feature emphasized is how music is woven into every element, from scenarios and items to characters. Even battles utilize melodies to determine attack and defense effects. The game structure consists of 6 episodes, each promising a distinct world. Screenshots show typical RPG elements, like a field map and a battle interface, featuring character portraits and enemy sprites. The article also briefly introduces a girl named Ellis who appears in the first episode. Finally, the page reveals the voice cast for the alien band F.H.B, featuring well-known voice actors including Daisuke Guribu, Mika Kanai, Toshio Furukawa, Ryo Horikawa, Isamu Tanonaka, and Kenyu Horiuchi, confirming that the post-recording for the band members is complete. Dark Wizard's history begins with the creation of the world from light, darkness, and elements. In the Age of Gods, balance reigned between the light and dark gods. Thousands of years later, King Jamshid unified Peshawar, aided by ministers Zahak and Gilliam. Zahak, corrupted by darkness, assassinated the king and sought to eliminate Gilliam. The land plunged into darkness under Zahak's rule. Wenric, a wise leader, and the dragon knight Vigian arose, fighting Zahak's forces. Gilliam joined Wenric,
who became a holy king. Zahak was defeated, and Gilliam sealed the Orb of Darkness on Vyasdia Island, guarded by his disciple, Veneros. 300 years later, Veneros seeks revenge and plots to revive the Dark God, weakening the seal and summoning demons. The invasion of Peshawar begins, forcing the 15th Holy King to retreat to the location of King Jamshid's assassination, setting the stage for the game's events.
The next page dives deeper into the world of Dark Wizard, showcasing the key characters central to the game's complex story. Building on the history we saw before, it features character art and introductions for figures like Ahriman, the embodiment of darkness; Vian, the valiant dragon knight; Gilliam, the arch-sorcerer tied to the Orb of Darkness; Veneros, Gilliam's vengeful disciple; Aframazda, the radiant light god; Wenric, the wise leader; and Wenric VIII, the current Holy King facing the invasion. Each character description highlights their role and motivations within the epic conflict between light and shadow. Separately, the page excites fans with news about the Mega CD title, 3x3 Eyes. It promises a substantial 30-minute animated sequence, emphasizing the power of CD technology to bring the manga to life. Concept sketches of protagonists Pai and Yakumo are featured, with text praising how vibrantly their expressions are captured. The animation is set to depict crucial moments like their first meeting and glimpses into Pain's past, offering significant appeal for fans of the series. This page focuses on the release of Cosmic Fantasy Stories for the Mega CD. This compilation brings together the first two installments of the highly popular Cosmic Fantasy series, which were originally huge hits on the PC Engine Clindrom Squared. It's a significant release, packing both adventure RPG titles onto a single Mega CD disc, a feat that excited fans immensely at the time. The article highlights the impressive visuals, starting with the stunning opening sequences, a trademark of the series. It also praises the captivating stories that drew in many fans. Notably, the key creative staff, including director, scriptwriter, and character designer Kazuhiro Ochi, remain the same, ensuring the quality fans expected. The voice acting is also lauded, comparable to that found in feature-length anime films. The page dedicates sections to each game. Cosmic Fantasy 1. Adventure Boy U is noted for its beautiful opening visuals that set it apart, and a compelling, tear-jerking story centered around the protagonist U. Screenshots show both character interactions and the overhead map view. Cosmic Fantasy 2. Adventure Boy Van features Van as the protagonist and is described as a more refined work with significant events structured across chapters and new battles. Screenshots, again, show character scenes and gameplay perspectives. Both game descriptions include a brief summary of their respective plots, outlining the adventurous journeys of the young heroes in space and on their homeworlds, fighting for peace and against encroaching darkness. The Mega CD version of Cosmic Fantasy Stories significantly improves upon the original PC Engine releases, primarily through drastically reduced loading times. The Mega CD's faster access speed dramatically cuts loading times from the PC Engine's lengthy 510 seconds down to approximately 1 second, promising a much smoother gameplay experience. The battle system is also addressed, with the article anticipating either the adaptation of one of the original game's systems, CF1 versus CF2's differing battle screen backgrounds, or a completely new one. The reviewer emphasizes the importance of a well-executed transition. Finally, the page details a special release promotion involving garage kit figures of Yu, Saya, Monmon, Pan, and Rim, personally signed by Kazuhiro Ochi, which were given away as a prize. This page highlights two upcoming RPGs from Wolf Team. First is Seirei Shinseki Fei area, an RPG planned for Clindrom release in December. Development is going well, featuring narration by the renowned voice actor Banjo Jinga, whose deep voice is perfect for the game's scope. Screenshots display a town, an indoor area, and a field map, all looking polished. A visual segment, Decisive Moments Captured by the Camera Part 2, shows impressive graphics of a lighthouse weathering powerful waves. The second game is A Chill Road, another Wolf Team RPG targeting players who prefer a more serious experience. It incorporates new systems and character designs by popular artist Akemi Takada. Progress is steady. The page showcases various 3D map graphics, including outdoor environments, building interiors, and caves. The Room mode, which allows detailed exploration of indoor areas, is praised. Character sprites and a glimpse of a single enemy monster, noted for its potentially intense movement, are also shown.
This page reports on the 29th Amusement Machine Show, held in Tokyo on October 2nd and 3rd. The show highlighted a noticeable shift in the arcade industry, moving towards a more amusement park feel, breaking away from the older image of dark, cramped game centers. The show featured numerous exhibits showcasing this trend, reflecting a growing appeal to a broader audience, including women and salarymen. Major manufacturers like Sega, Namco, Konami, Taito, Data East, Technos Japan, Capcom, and others were present. The page features images of several standout machines: Capcom Bowling, Sega's impressive R360 rotating cabinet, and Namco's Drift Kids, which puts players in actual bumper cars. Crane games, particularly UFO catcher types like Jaleco's Mini Hunting, were prominent, indicating their increasing popularity. Also featured is Namco's Starblade, a remarkable 3D rail shooter that had made waves in its previous incarnation, Solvaloo. The article notes the move from traditional sit-down table games to larger, upright cabinets for a more engaging experience. This page continues the report on the 29th Amusement Machine Show, detailing the impressive exhibits from several major manufacturers. Sega truly embraced the amusement park concept with their rotating Dream Palace crane game, designed like a merry-go-round for up to 8 players. Their Formula S racing cabinet, styled after an F1 car, offered immersive communication battles and even simulated wind effects, showcasing Sega's diverse and exciting lineup. Namco pushed beyond traditional video games, featuring popular cabinets like the impressive 3D shooter Starblade and its predecessor Solvaloo, alongside the exciting driving game Drift Kids. While these big titles drew crowds, some of their table games felt less central to the display. Konami focused on advanced graphics and sound, highlighting the shooting game XEXEX and the action-packed 4-player Sunset Riders, both presented in larger, upright cabinets that captured the show's focus on immersive experiences. Taito showed off innovation in the popular crane game market, with Capriccio, which used timing cues to help players, alongside strong video game entries like the intense shooter Metal Black and the 2-player cockpit racer Power Wheels. The show demonstrated a clear move towards more engaging and physically interactive arcade experiences across the board. The Amusement Machine Show featured several major arcade players. Date East expanded its offerings, showcasing pinball, including a popular Batman machine, and fortune-telling, alongside video games like Captain America and the Avengers, and Dumblepop. Capcom capitalized on Street Fighter II's success, unveiling the anticipated Captain Commando, and other titles like Block Block and Bowlingo. SNK branched out with its first crane game, Neo Carnival, and featured action games like Robo Army, along with driving and mahjong games. Irem focused on shooting games like Thunder Blaster and Gallop, while also introducing a popular fortune-telling machine. Tecmo presented a diverse collection, including the wrestling game WWF WrestleFest and the vertical shooter Thunder Dragon, demonstrating a broad market approach. This page features Super Fantasy Zone for the Mega Drive, highlighting it as a must-play exclusive developed by Sunsoft, the team behind the Famicom version of Fantasy Zone. The article praises the game's stunning graphics and excellent sound, noting that Opasiopa's unique movements are perfectly reproduced. A convenient weapon select system, accessible via a floating shop entity in each stage, is pointed out as a helpful feature. The page provides previews of the first 4 stages: Picnic, Kazarne, Volcano, Niagara, Waterfall, and Risk Cave, showing screenshots of the levels and bosses, and offering brief descriptions of their challenges. This page delves into stages 5 and 6 of Super Fantasy Zone. First up is Stage 5, Grandiose, the Great Canyon. If you've made it this far, this stage shouldn't pose too much difficulty. The shop here offers some great upgrades. Be sure to pick up Quick Shot and Twin Shot if you see them. And Hurricane is also highly recommended. The boss, Dugu, isn't particularly tough and can be defeated quickly by just keeping up the fire. The article notes that Hurricane is especially effective against it. Next is Stage 6, Lee Picker. Described as a sparkling and slippery stage due to electrical hazards, you'll definitely want to buy the boots item here to navigate the electric ground safely. This stage is quite painful without them. The boss is Raider. To defeat it, focus on taking out the front turret. Then, circle around it from left to right, being careful of lightning attacks and the side turrets. This boss is described as a bit tricky. The screenshots showcase the electric stage hazards and the bosses. Sorcerer Kingdom, a Mega Drive RPG by NCS/Messiah,
is set to offer extensive gameplay, ideal for autumn nights. The game begins with the protagonist, at 16, receiving adventurer status from King Landel, including a title, Butler, and the Magic Map. The Magic Map tracks progress. Players then explore Landel's castle town, relying on classic RPG mechanics like gathering information through conversation. The town offers leads from veteran adventurers, the protagonist's mother, and villagers. The article highlights starting equipment, including a dagger, and recommends buying a club. The inn is free, thanks to the protagonist's connection, making it the perfect place to rest and save. This page continues the adventure in Sorcerer Kingdom, guiding you beyond Landel's castle town. Your journey leads west to the back mountains, where you'll seek the hermit mentioned previously. He's been troubled by goblins, and clearing them out is your first task. Fighting these creatures one by one is a good way to earn money for better equipment, which is crucial early on. Learn to flee if battles are tough. It's a valid tactic. After helping the hermit, the path leads to the village of Clare, whose residents are suffering from a kobold infestation in the nearby forest of Uruku. Speak with the village chief and a hot-blooded youth to understand the situation. Getting to Clare is straightforward. A man south of Landel can provide directions. While Clare has an inn, remember the free one back in Landel is better for your budget. The main challenge here is the forest of Uruku. Face the kobolds, learning their strength. If you're struggling, grind battles for money and upgrade gear. If you're confident, focus on defeating the core group deep within the forest to earn valuable gold nuggets. A magic stone you receive from the hermit will react in the areas. Use tactical approaches, like luring enemies into narrow spots. Once the kobold threat is eliminated, report back to the village chief to complete this mission. This page features Double Dragon 2, The Revenge on the Sega Mega Drive. A legendary fighting action game makes its debut on the system, significantly powered up from the arcade version. The story is set after a nuclear war, where the streets are ruled by violence, particularly by the Black Warriors gang. Billy and Jimmy Lee, who run a martial arts dojo, find their lives shattered when Billy's girlfriend, Marion, is killed by the gang. Billy is enraged and vows revenge. The Mega Drive version is a power-up port, with several changes to make the game more enjoyable. Key improvements include adding vertical scrolling to maps which were only horizontal in the arcade, removing less used techniques, powering up the hurricane kick, and centralizing use elements like score and life meters for better visibility. The page also illustrates several key moves. The punch, multiple hits can stun. The back kick, effective against enemies approaching from behind. The jump kick, highly effective, especially against armed foes. The elbow uppercut, performed after getting behind an enemy. And the signature hurricane kick, a powerful move that sends enemies flying but can miss. A screenshot shows the two-player mode, confirming it's available, which is essential for the Double Dragon experience. The moves are the same for both brothers. This page continues the deep dive into Double Dragon 2, The Revenge, focusing on more combat options and available items. The article highlights that players can steal weapons from enemies or find them lying around. These are purely offensive tools. Crucially, there are no items for recovering health, making survival challenging. Several weapons are showcased, including familiar ones like the knife and hand grenade, plus the whip or chain, a shovel, a wooden box, an iron ball, and a log or club. These items add significant variety to the brawling action. The action section details more of the hero's moveset. It describes the uppercut, an attack that follows stunning an enemy. The knee bash, referred to here as the hair grab kick, is shown as a low-danger attack while holding an opponent. The powerful shoulder throw allows you to toss even large enemies. Finally, the close-range knee kick is detailed. A large screenshot at the bottom illustrates the chaotic nature of combat against multiple foes. The page includes the game title, copyright details from Technos, Japan and Palsoft, and publisher information. This page declares, "This is the stage of battle," and continues the look at Double Dragon 2, The Revenge, detailing early stages and tough foes. Mission 1, The Heliport, is presented as a warm-up level to get accustomed to the game, featuring enemies descending from elevators and an abundance of non-stockable items. Mission 3 takes an unexpected turn, moving from a lumberyard to a wheat field, setting the scene for a bloody battle amidst serene nature. This stage introduces difficult enemies, including those who hide, and a particularly troublesome foe named Chintai Mei.
who despite a strange name, is strong with varied attacks like aerial kicks and staff techniques. Key enemy types are highlighted, such as Burnov, described as an astonishing regenerating monster, and skilled Chinese martial artists. Separately, the page features the logo and copyright details for the game on deadline, licensed by Sega for the Mega Drive, along with publisher information. This page continues the deep dive into Double Dragon 2: The Revenge, offering detailed looks at more challenging stages and key enemies. Mission 2 is set in a lumberyard, taking the action from the rooftop down to the ground. It features hazardous footing with piles of lumber and conveyor belts, emphasizing careful navigation over complex traps. A notable challenge is a difficult jump over a pit, described as a potentially deadly spot, common in action games but tricky here. The page introduces the enemy Abobo, characterized as a physically powerful type, with minimal intellect, but a wide variety of moves, including horizontal chops and shoulder tackles. Mission 4 is the boss's hideout, the final stage. As expected, it's packed with strong enemies and traps. Previous bosses make appearances, culminating in a confrontation with the final boss, Willy. Intriguingly, the page hints at something beyond Willy, asking, however, the true enemy is. It also notes that the regenerating enemy Burnov appears in pairs, and suggests Abobo might also appear as twins. To the right, the page features a large artistic panel related to the game on deadline, stating, the key to the sealed door was discovered on the morning of the Day of Destiny. Below this is the Undeadline logo and copyright information. Urawaza League Volume 20 provides cheat codes and strategies for Sega Genesis games. For Master of Monsters, it details a code to unlock special maps and a classic characters mode. It also reveals that powerful monsters are available early in the All Cast 2 map. In Mercs, a trick allows players to fully heal their squad using a single first aid kit by switching characters during the healing animation. Super Daisen Ryaku's tip involves using aircraft carriers to launch long-range attacks without deploying units. Lastly, Rent-A-Hero offers a hidden stash of 200 gold found in a white dresser, and a name input trick that forces the protagonist's name to Yamada Taru. This page continues the Urawaza League, starting with tips for advanced Daisen Ryaku. There's a trick to trigger an early ending by completing a standard game on the Germany map and then pressing buttons at the finish screen. Another tip details a map editor quirk regarding placing production capitals. Next up is Sonic the Hedgehog, revealing the legendary invincibility command input via the DP, A, D, and C button on the title screen. Achieving this makes you immune to damage, except for instant death traps. The page also notes that pressing the B button during invincibility changes Sonic's character pattern, which can then be placed on the screen with the C button. Finally, for Devil's Crush, several convenient passwords are provided. Entering all zeros starts the game with 0 score and balls, which seems pointless. More usefully, the password 09563-35555 gives you a massive score of 555,533 balls. Even better, Devil Crash grants 390,000 points and 7 balls from the start, while Technosoft kicks off with 2 million points and 10 balls, a fantastic bonus. The page concludes with details on the prizes for the Urawaza League contest winners, categorized by rank, and instructions on submitting cheat entries via postcard. This page features Volume 8 of Hyper Sega, chronicling an adventure centered around the rare Radmobile SV arcade machine at Sega World Kosuparu in Shizuoka. The ongoing story follows a private detective and his assistant searching for this elusive machine, which appeared after a bizarre event involving a 21st stage in the standard Radmobile game. Upon arriving at Sega World Kosuparu, a large urban arcade, the detective learns from the manager that the Radmobile SV is located on the second floor, despite the entrance seeming small. The arcade is described as impressively spacious, with high ceilings, and packed with games and players on the first floor. The article notes the presence of other Sega classics, like the R360 motion simulator upstairs. A photo highlights the scale of the operation, showing just some of the reported 20 female staff members. This installment details the detective's arrival at the specific location indicated by his client, continuing the hunt for the mysterious Radmobile SV. The text confirms this story is entirely fictional. This page continues the Hyper Sega adventure at Sega World Kosuparu, where the detective and his assistant sample local strawberry wine and discuss the vast size and variety of the arcade, noting its distinct areas for metal games, video games, and even karaoke,
feeling more like a theme park. The manager highlights that their metal game system attracts visitors from far away. Later, while getting souvenirs, the detective is dragged around and ends up losing money. Photos show the arcade entrance with staff and rows of metal game machines. The page also features the Sega Information Station, a reader mail section discussing game strategies, particularly for the UFO catcher, and announces a giveaway for postcards with UFO catcher tips. Another section answers a reader question about the R360 simulator, confirming its nationwide presence at around 34 locations. An illustration of Sonic the Hedgehog is included alongside images of Game Gear consoles and a racing game screenshot. This article previews IBM PC game software, particularly focusing on its accessibility for Sega MegaDrive users. Sega is making efforts to provide these games, with some even including Japanese manuals. Upcoming releases include a diverse range of titles like Might and Magic 3, Prince of Persia, and Railroad Tycoon. The reviews highlight several games. Might and Magic 2 Wind. Isles of Terra boasts impressive graphics and mouse support. Draken, popular in Japan, offers unique 3D gameplay. Railroad Tycoon, a simulation game, challenges players to manage railway empires. Balance of the Planet, a complex simulation, tasks players with economic management, with a steep learning curve. Screenshots are included for each game, showcasing their visual features and gameplay. This page delves into practical uses for the Sega MegaDrive beyond just gaming, specifically focusing on peripherals and utility software. It highlights the possibility of using printers with the MegaDrive, noting that while IBM PC printers can connect using the correct cable, finding one might be tricky compared to the more common PC-98 printers. The article then showcases two Sega utility software titles. First up is Page Pros, a word processor perfect for creating things like New Year's cards, allowing users to incorporate drawings, texts, and various layouts. The second is AutoNets, a communications software. Its most impressive feature is the ability to seamlessly switch to playing a MegaDrive game while a download is in progress, simply by pressing a key and then returning to the download afterward. A clever trick utilizing the MegaDrive's architecture. Brief sections also touch upon the TerraNet online service, mentioning the upcoming release of the Mega CD, Sega CD, and its increasing presence on the network. There's also a discussion of puzzle construction software, which lets you build your own puzzle games, even suggesting you could be working on your creation while playing another game. They're encouraging users to send in their original game creations. Finally, reader questions cover the difficulty of finding IBM software outside major cities, and the potential for the construction software series to expand beyond puzzle games. This page features the Beep Game Gear section from December 8, 1991, focusing on portable gaming. The main highlight is a review of the Game Gear fantasy simulation game, Arleal. The reviewer expresses high anticipation for Arleal, which had been promoted previously, and declares it a top-tier simulation title for the Game Gear. They praise its exceptional game balance and depth, noting it stands out among other Game Gear simulation games, and holds its own even in an era defined by strong console SLGs like Langrisser and Fire Emblem. The page includes screenshots showcasing the game's different views, strategic movement on the map, detailed battle sequences, and exploring towns. Original character illustrations by Kugatsu Hime are also featured, showing the main characters like Ellis, Eld, Tornado, and Shamil. The game receives high marks in the evaluation diamond, scoring well across operation, game balance, visuals/audio, and duration. The 1-point review specifically commends the well-crafted game system and scenarios, giving the reviewer a positive impression, especially compared to previous Game Gear SLG attempts, and even suggests it could be successful if ported to the MegaDrive. The next page delves into the Beep Game Gear section, featuring reviews of two distinct titles. First up is GG Aleste, the Game Gear entry in the renowned Aleste vertical scrolling shooter series developed by Compile. Known for classics like Zanak and Blazing Lasers, Compile brings their signature expertise to the portable platform. The review highlights intense high-speed scrolling action, impressive boss characters, and a robust power-up system with various main shots and sub-shots. The reviewer notes it's currently the best vertical shooter available for the Game Gear. Evaluation scores include Operation 3, Game Balance 4, Visuals/Audio 4, and Duration 3. The 1-point review praises the game's depth and highlights to appeal to series fans, though it mentions the Game Gear's DPAD might make precise bullet dodging tricky. Following that is Kunichan no Game Tengoku, a compilation game offering 4 different experiences in one cartridge: a board game, tennis, daifugu, a card game, and a column-style puzzle game. The reviewer finds the concept of bundling 4 games appealing, especially featuring the popular character Kuni-chan. Despite the seemingly simple nature of the included games, they are described as surprisingly fun to play, making it a good option for playing with others, perhaps during a trip. The evaluation gives Operation 3, Game Balance 2, Visual/Audio 3, and Duration 4. The 1-point review acknowledges it's a collection of straightforward games, but is unexpectedly engaging, particularly Daifugu. While the scenario mode setting is found a bit forced, the core games are enjoyable. The next page continues with Game Gear reviews, leading with Sega's classic arcade shooter, Space Harrier. This portable version is highlighted as a refined remake based on the Master System port, praised for retaining the original's signature sense of speed. While the core game structure is familiar, the reviewer notes that the enemy designs have been significantly redrawn for this release, giving it a distinct look. The gameplay is described as challenging, perhaps even more so than the Master System version, with a password system included. Following Space Harrier is the highly anticipated Sonic the Hedgehog for the Game Gear. The review expresses excitement, calling it the Game Gear version's first public reveal, and stating the graphics approach or even surpass the Mega Drive original in certain aspects. The speed and feel are noted as capturing the essence of Sonic gameplay, showcasing a high-quality port. Interestingly, the review points out that unlike the Genesis version, the Game Gear port includes mandatory scrolling sections, adding a new element to the gameplay. The final review covers Buster Ball by Riverhill Soft. This game is described as a battle action game that takes the concept of football and adds significant arrangement and action elements. Players control mechanical vehicles in heated battles on the field, suggesting a unique sports combat hybrid experience. The page notes that more details on Buster Ball will be coming in a future issue. This page features a reader giveaway offering a selection of Mega Drive and Game Gear titles. Up for grabs are games like the arcade sequel Rolling Thunder 2, the Disney platformer Fantasia, the strategy title Ranzi no Hasha, the fighting game Beast Warriors, the unique board game collection Kuni-chan no Game Tengoku, the excellent Game Gear shooter GG Aleste, and the action-adventure El Viento. Quantities range from 3 to 10 copies depending on the title, and screenshots or artwork are provided for each. Also included in the giveaway is a cool Sonic keychain. The page's information section notes that the upcoming January issue will feature a major special on the Mega CD, and highlights the significant international popularity of Sonic the Hedgehog, and the growing interest in Mega CD. This page announces the winners of a contest related to Raiden Densetsu and the Sega TerraDrive. The main prize is a Sega TerraDrive system awarded to 10 lucky entrants. There's also a Micronet prize for 100 people, consisting of original phone cards. The page displays a list of the winners for both categories, along with their locations and ages for the top Sega TerraDrive winners. This follows up on the giveaway theme from the previous page, this time revealing the successful participants for these specific prizes. Micronet is listed as the publisher for Raiden Densetsu, which is a shooter game title. The page congratulates all the winners. This page features a preview for the Micronet title, Heavy Nova, coming to the Sega CD. The headline asks, "Hot excitement! Can you become the universe's strongest warrior, Heavy Nova?" Describing the game as a future-style martial arts deathmatch. Screenshots show intense mecha combat between humanoid robots. The premise involves piloting a Heavy Doll unit from the Earth Defense Force's pilot training facility to earn the coveted Heavy Nova title, bestowed only upon the greatest warriors in the cosmos. The game is scheduled for release in December 1991, and highlights the potential for grand battles and achieving ultimate power in the universe. This page announces the release of the pinball game, Devil Crash MD, on the Sega Mega Drive. The striking artwork features macabre and mechanical themes alongside a human face. The page confirms the game is now on sale for 6,800 yen, and promotes a high-score campaign. Known internationally as Devil's Crush, this is a highly regarded pinball title. This page announces a special offer from Technosoft. Limited repressings of their popular game music creeds. Responding to fan demand, they are making 1,000 copies each of 4 volumes available. The collection includes Volume 1, Illusion, featuring music from PC titles like Thunder Force 2, Kyugyokuden, Bat and Go, and Shinkyugyokuden Daibuken.
Volume 2 Excursion, which includes music from the Mega Drive classic Herzog Zwei and Shinkyu Gyokuden, presenting arranged rock versions alongside classic tracks. Volume 3 Thunder Force 2 Illy, dedicated entirely to the iconic Mega Drive shooter, featuring both the original soundtrack and arranged versions, plus vocal tracks. Volume 4 Elemental Master, offering the full original soundtrack and arranged tracks from this unique Mega Drive action title, also with these crids were available via mail order for 2,300 yen per disc, including tax and shipping, requiring applicants to send their requests with payment via postal money order to Technosoft's CD department in Seibo City. This was a great opportunity for fans to grab rare soundtracks for beloved Technosoft titles. The artwork in the bottom left corner relates to the Devil's Crush MD game, featured on the previous page.
This page features upcoming titles for the Game Gear handheld system, highlighting games that emphasize competitive play and different genres. Featured prominently is Kuchan's Game Paradise, a unique release packing 4 distinct games onto a single cartridge. This collection caters to social gaming, including a board game, the popular card game Daifugo, equivalent to President or Big 2, tennis, and the puzzle game Koromusu. It looks like a great value pack for casual fun and boasts versus play options. Releasing on November 22nd for 3,800 yen. Also showcased is Ariel, Crystal Legend, an RPG-style simulation game with tactical combat. Players control Princess Alice, leading her army in a fight to recover the sacred Terra Crystal from the Gark Empire. The game features strategic battles across 16 rounds, and also supports head-to-head versus play if you have 2 Game Gear units. This title offers a deeper fantasy experience compared to the multi-game pack, scheduled for release on December 13th, for 4,500 yen. The page also includes an illustration of Sonic the Hedgehog, a key character for the Sega brand and its platforms at the time. Additionally, there's a section detailing the Game Gear hardware itself, listing the console price at 19,800 yen and the optional TV tuner pack at 12,800 yen, demonstrating the handheld's capabilities beyond just gaming. Both titles appear to be leaning into the Game Gear's multiplayer potential.